gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
We call it the LAX, LA Sports Mega Block. Of course, powered every day by LAX, Los Angeles International Airport, where change arrives daily. Let's get to it. Time to get in the air. We're taking off, LA.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Travis and Sliwa has clearance right now.
Yeah! We got a lot going on today. There's a lot going on. Slee is back in his seat.
Yes,
Good to
sir.
see you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Good to see you. Good to see
Good
all
to
of
see
you.
you.
You look tan.
Yeah.
Jorge is not
big,
here.
that's hilarious.
And it's good news sooner than later,
Yep.
right? That Jorge and his lovely wife Brenda are expecting their second baby. And
Let's go.
basically they're on the 1 yard line.
That's
so
awesome.
we'll see. We'll let everybody know when it's time to let everybody know. So Brian Cohen is a little double duty today for you,
BC
Brian.
in the house.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Good to see you again.
show,
Of
for
course,
show.
you know the
Show.
Trav and Slee show. You're
Yeah.
you're a regular.
Thank
Exactly.
you, bro.
know?
Are you
Thank
doing
guys.
both shows today?
I am. Yeah, today and tomorrow. So I'm with you
Oh,
tomorrow, too.
they're making you work.
Right.
Brian's coming through the door, and I see him, and he's
Gotta
like, I
earn
made
that
it. There's a
check.
lot of traffic. I'm like, welcome to the mornings. There you
I
go.
was stressing out there. I was sweating it.
That's a good point. If there's one time of the day, either if you're doing a 6 a.m. show, you're probably good on traffic.
Yep.
Or if you're doing midday like they are at 1, that, all right, there's a little bit of a window where you're not going to feel it. You're going to feel it a little bit when
It's
you're
the
doing
only
this.
one where you kind of are okay. It's the only one.
I
Not
never
for the
feel
next
it.
couple of days.
No, it usually takes me like 25 minutes. It took me like an hour and a half today. So that's a big difference. Yeah.
An hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, well, welcome to
I
my
was-
world,
I was
first
Sounds
of
like
all.
you were leaving
We can commiserate.
Riviera
That's good.
last week.
That was a 3 hour. So come on, let's not bring up bad times. That was such a good day that had such a thud of an ending along the way. So did you have the thing, Brian, where you're like, okay, I'm going to make it. And then you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to make it. And then it's, I might not make it. Did you go through all the stages
Get a
of
text
worrying?
from Emily.
Oh, yeah. And then it was points where it's like, okay, I got to actually pull up the Google Maps and see what my timing is. And then watching that, it keeps growing. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And then I was just about to text Emily, and she texted me. I was like, oh, I'm 10 minutes away. I'll be there.
All right.
In just one time for me, and I'm surprised this doesn't happen to you because you get here so early, so you don't run into it. I had one moment at 7:10 where
Is that when you turned around and went home?
I had to turn back around.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Basically, the freeway was closed.
Yeah.
And I had to, and it was like a decision. I'm like, all right, I'm really risking whether I'm going to make it in time or I'm not, or I just turn around. I just do the home from, our unit, our comics that we have. So I turned around and went home, and the whole time, everybody's like, well, how bad was it? I'm like, it's not even open. Like, the freeway wasn't even open. The fact that I got off the freeway to turn around was a job. in itself.
I in my 15 or so years of being on the air, I've missed one show. And it was the morning show with Key and LZ.
Okay.
And I was leaving. I honestly, Bronny, you may remember. I don't remember if we started at 6 or 7. I think it was 6.
And you missed one show that you should have been there for.
Let me think here.
that you didn't ask off for.
Right.
Who followed you guys? Was that still Colin?
No, it was Colin had left. We had taken over. So anyway, I'm coming in, plenty of time, like I always do. Emily, you know my deal. Al, you know my deal. I don't like to be late. Adam's seen me be here at Rams games. I am perpetually early. Well, I get on the freeway, and all of a sudden, it's stopped, like you're talking about. But it's stopped right in front of me where I can see it, right?
Okay.
Like it's less than a quarter of a mile away. I can see the flashing lights, fire trucks, police cars, all that stuff. And the traffic starts to back up behind you. This is 5-something in the morning. And I turn on the radio. There's a bad accident, and there's a fatality, and it's closed. Like when someone dies, that's it. They're not. That's it. Well, so much traffic had stacked up behind me, and we were in a part of the freeway where there were no off-ramps ahead of us to where it had been closed down. It just starts stacking up. I missed the whole show. I sat on the freeway for like 3 hours. There was nowhere to go. You were just pinned in. And I remember calling Chris at the time like, hey, I'm going to be late. Like I'm clearly not going to make it at the start.
Yep.
To, hey, I don't think I'm going to make it at all. To the show is over and I'm still sitting in the same part of the freeway. So, Brian, you had plenty of time to spare.
That's all you needed, Brian. All you needed to tell us was you had to experience something a little different, and then we're all like, oh, we'd love to tell our traffic story.
It's L.A.
That's
It's
LA.
what we do. We don't talk about the weather here because it's always nice, again, finally. So we talk about our traffic. Roars to you, Em. How are you? Buenos dias,
great.
Brian.
Buenos dias.
Okay, good. I figured Cody took Buenos Dias, so you wanted Buenos Dias as well. So
Nice.
would you like a different salutation to start the show?
I could do Buenos dias.
Buenos dias
I'll play
it is.
Buenos dias.
Otani's tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that was good, right?
And one thing I love about Brian is that he also watches a lot of reality TV show, just like me.
That I do.
And we have been talking a lot about Love Is Blind. I did watch the new couple episodes that came out.
I
2
thought
days
you
ago.
powered out the whole season over
Okay,
the weekend.
Here's what they do. With Love Is Blind, they do 6 episodes. They do chunks. So they do 6 episodes the first drop, and they do it like another week later. And they did 3 or 4 episodes this time.
Yeah, I think it was 3.
Yeah, so 3 episodes this time, and they're gonna do a couple final drops for the wedding days. So
Oh.
and then they do a reunion.
Are there multiple weddings?
Maybe. We don't know yet. But
drama
that's kind of
is so
how
good.
it gets staggered so that Netflix keeps the subscribers.
So Susan and I are watching TV last night out.
Okay.
We finished up season 2 of The Righteous Gemstones, which is just the most outrageous, campy, ridiculous, funny, hilarious. I love it. Good recommendation by Emily over there. And so we go back. We're on the queue on Netflix. And Righteous Gemstones, I think, is on Max. Anyway, I see Love Is Blind on the queue. And Susan says to me, "Oh, everybody's talking about that. We should watch that." I'm like, "That's not happening with me. Like you're welcome to watch it." And I said, Emily's been talking about it a lot. I know she's super into it, and I think Susan would like it. I think that she would be invested in it. I'm like, but that's not going to be one of those that we watch together.
Did she watch? When it was the dust settled? Did she give it a little?
I don't know. I was asleep at 9:15. I was
No,
gone.
that was
See you
it.
later.
No, 9:15.
So
that's way too
no
late.
games to watch last night. Ducks were getting their butts kicked.
Yeah,
It was,
literally
what are
no
you gonna
games
do?
to watch.
One thing about Love Is Blind, it is. I know we talk about monoculture isn't here anymore. There's nothing that really everyone talks about. Honestly, Love Is Blind is one of the few sticky shows that's not like a Game of Thrones. That's not on like
Succession.
that stuff. It is a very sticky show. People talk about it, and one thing, more guys come up and talk to me about Love Is Blind than
That's
girls,
funny.
which is kind of crazy.
I was going to say, you told me that this morning, and forgive me for generalizing here. I would have thought that was a predominantly female-driven audience.
Yeah, most reality shows are a predominantly female.
What do you have against men?
Why do men? Why does that resonate with guys?
Brian, I'll let you speak after this, but I think a lot of times it's like they're guys, girls watch together as a couple. So
Okay.
like with Susan with you guys watch together, and the guys get as interested in it as the women, and then they know that I like it, so they'll definitely bring it up to me. So it might be a little skewed. But Brian, why do you think that maybe it kind of sticks out to guys?
I don't know. I think.
Are the girls really good looking?
Yeah, some of them are. Yes,
Okay.
some of them also
Mystery
give fake
solved.
celebrity comparisons. But I'm in it for the drama. And
Okay.
Are the
kind of a-
storylines just ridiculous?
Yes.
Because sometimes
It's great.
No,
It's-
listen. We've talked about that. There's certain shows out there that what were we saying? This was probably a couple months ago. We were joking around about Jersey Shore back in the day,
Yeah,
right?
Real Housewives.
It was so ridiculous that I'm like, no, I'm gonna watch another episode. Sometimes
exactly.
that's the allure, that it's so ridiculous, it's so not real, or the drama. It's like that's really what people are arguing about in the world. That kind of links you in.
How was your time off? Your all-star break. You're back to work tonight, double duty.
Time off was good. I do got to point this out, and this one's actually a really, really sad one that went down yesterday, and Ireland posted about this. I've only worked with Doug Mann, who's the statistician, been the statistician for the Lakers for a number of years. I've only worked with him for the last few years of being a part of the Lakers broadcast. Passed away yesterday. And Doug Mann was somebody that at this radio station everybody knows. If you listen to the Lakers broadcast for years, by the way, worked with Vin Scully, worked with Chick Hearn, worked with Bob Miller. If you listen to any of these radio broadcasts over the years, you'd always hear his name in the background. He's a statistician, and he's doing this thing in the background. He's the one, actually, we were joking around when Michael was in here, and we were talking about the pies.
The pies, yeah.
He would go buy the pies and expect Michael to pay, and Michael's like, well, you offered, Really, really good man, and was in his final year before he was going to retire, pass away yesterday. So really, Michael had sent me a text last night and had mentioned that they're hearing that this could have happened, and obviously confirmed now. So really sad, but I did want to point that out. Doug Mann's a really, really good man, a good soul in the business. Unfortunately, passed away.
Yeah, that's terribly sad. I saw John's tweet this morning talking about that and the people that he'd worked with, and I'd gotten a chance to do the Lakers for a couple of seasons as well, and got to meet Doug. And I did not know Doug well, but I did speak with him occasionally. And he was one of those guys you could just tell had a million stories, had been around for a long time, and like you said, had worked with so many people that are not just in our business, but the literal definition of our business. Chick Hearn, Vin Scully, Bob Miller. These are the titans of L.A. broadcasting, and that he worked with all of them. Just a very sweet guy, very sad.
He had saved, this was, I think, last season at some point. Listen, there's certain voicemails you save.
Oh, yeah.
He had a voicemail from Vin, and randomly, we would have some downtime, whatever it is, and one time he played the voicemail for me, and it's
that's incredible.
Freaking Vin, But that was he had a good relationship with him, and it just kind of shows you that a lot of his relationships with these icons were personal relationships. And he always would talk about Michael and John. He's like, in all my years doing this, those are two of my favorite guys I've worked with. They're so easy to work with, this and that. So for John and Michael, I know very, very heavy for them. But, unfortunately, we lost a good soul.
Yeah, that's hopefully, his friends and family are doing okay. It's always a difficult time. But I'm glad you brought it up, because I know that, people that, like you said, that listen to Laker broadcasts, that the Lakers are a family business. They're still one of the few that is a family business, and very, very sad.
Yeah.
Other than the very bad news that you got this morning, a good few days off.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of funny when you get to the break. You get to the All-Star break, and it's like, wait a minute here, we're not that far away from the playoffs. We kind of start counting the games, and the NBA is the only one. I can't remember if Major League Baseball, when exactly they do it. Is it right at the halfway point?
It's not. It's slightly past the halfway point, but not nearly as far past the halfway point as the NBA.
Like everybody keeps saying, can't wait for the second half of the season. It's like second half of the season,
final
was
third,
10 games, 10 games ago.
Right.
But it was really nice just to get some time away, because there wasn't games on either. You kind of force yourself to do other stuff, so it was nice to get away, but also great to be back, ready to go.
Did you sit in the rain like the rest of us for 3 days, or did you escape and get some decent weather?
All right, the one day I had gone down to San Diego, and weather-wise, it was perfect.
Okay.
So I did a long hike in Torrey Pines area. Maybe that's why Emily said, "Did you get some sun?" And I'm like, "What? Wait, what are you talking about?"
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I mean,
no disrespect. You don't look pale, but it doesn't look like you've been out in the sun a lot.
That's what I thought. Like, she made it up for a second. I'm like, did I go to Mexico and not know, and sit on a pool and have some margaritas? But it was raining pretty much the whole time as well. So
all right. So LeBron didn't play the final game before the All-Star break against Utah. He's not going to play tonight against the Golden State Warriors, but he did play in the All-Star game, so that's fun. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. AutoZone has the free services you need to help you get back on the road, like their free AutoZone Fix Finder service. The AutoZone Fix Finder service not only identifies the check engine light code, but also helps identify the most likely cause of the check engine light being on. The information provided by the free AutoZone Fix Finder service is then verified by data from over 5.5 million ASE certified technicians. And with over 5,600 locations nationwide, AutoZone is here to help you save time and money with their free services. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
The Black and Gold have been to the MLS Cup Final the last 2 years in a row. Can they make it a third? The road starts this Saturday.
BMO Stadium is rocking for the Black and Gold!
LAFC are reloaded and ready for Season 7, led by former World Cup champion keeper Hugo Lloris and last year's Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga.
Denny!
It's the season opener at BMO. LAFC versus Seattle. Pre-game starts Saturday at 1 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
Por la cultura.
ESPN.
So we got our draft coming up in the 12 o'clock hour, Slee, either at 12 or 12:15. We'll see what that is. Maybe 12:30.
Could move, Brian, if you don't know. It floats.
I like it.
It floats in the noon hour.
I know it's not at 12:45. That's where the dump is.
That's where the dump is.
The other three segments in the 12 o'clock hour, it could pop up at any time. I'm excited. We're doing Rabbit Hole today, Em.
Yeah.
I got a good one. I'm excited to share with you guys today.
And
it's not my typical. I did do a baseball reference rabbit hole, but I actually had a second one this morning that was awesome. I can't wait to tell you guys about.
Do you have any idea what rabbit hole is, Brian?
Yeah, Emily kind of described it to me, but mine is kind of a baseball one today.
Oh, good.
So.
I can't wait to hear it.
This is what's happened to me now. It's kind of almost infiltrated my rabbit hole time. Is now that I'm thinking, hey, is that the rabbit hole I want to bring up? Or is it this one that I spent 15 minutes on? Which one do I want to bring up?
Oh, you missed a good one from me on Tuesday. It's this series. It's called Who the F Did I Marry? And this woman goes through, it's a 50-part serid with some of these parts are like 10 minutes long. Like she goes through in detail. Why did you say it like Buffalo Bill?
Because it's a lot. It's a lot of time.
The only way I was going to comprehend it.
It watches 500 minutes of Instagram. It does this whenever it's told.
She goes through how she met this guy.
Okay.
And she met him in COVID, and then she ends up moving in together because of COVID. They want to quarantine together. They end up getting married. They buy a house together. She realizes he's a scammer. He's not who he says he was. And then all these other dominoes start falling. And she's doing this like while driving her car in Atlanta. And so it's like as if you're on FaceTime with somebody. It's incredibly engaging. So
That's
Who the F Did I Marry from Risa Tisa.
Okay.
Start chipping off those 500 minutes, Al.
You know, she just said something that I haven't even, I'll save it, but the scamming ones.
Oh, those are great.
Are really, really good too.
Emily and I had a 20-minute conversation about the wedding scammer this morning, about Dr. Death, the podcast, Dr. Paulo Manineri, something like that. There's a Netflix series about it, about really smart people that get sucked into these web of lies, and by the time you realize it's a bunch of you-know-what, it's way too late.
Why do we care about scammers so much?
Because we want to think it can't happen to us. That's why. That when we're listening to it, you're thinking, "Oh, I would have caught that." No, you wouldn't.
But isn't there also a little bit of, if you told me, I'll use as an example, if there was a podcast out there tomorrow and it's on a guy that robbed a bank and nobody found out for X amount of years, I'm also curious of, well, how'd you do it? So I think like the scamming stuff is, well, how the hell did you get away with it? Or even if you got caught, what was the game plan? What was the thoughts? What was the... I think that's the allure.
These scammer stories are typically told from the point of view of people who have gotten scammed, people that were at the wrong end of it. Sometimes I would like to see a podcast. I know it will never probably happen. Of the scammer.
I'm opening up the platform and the microphone for the scammer.
I want to know how he did it.
I'm with you.
Like a tutorial kind of
but
situation.
More in the sense like, hey, you're probably wondering how he ended up here.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like if you're in jail or whatever, and then he goes through
That's interesting.
His thought process of all these things, because I know that's probably glorifying crime, but
I'd listen to that.
Yeah, I would.
Like,
too.
how did I get here? I would definitely listen to that. How did we get here?
Okay.
LeBron not playing before the All-Star break, LeBron not playing immediately after the All-Star break, but LeBron playing in the All-Star break. I know they got back-to-backs. I know that he's in his 21st season, that he's closing in on 40 years old. Yeah. I understand all of this, and I'm not asking him to play 82 games. I'm not asking him to play 40 minutes a night, even though he kind of does on a lot of occasions. But just from an optics sense, this is so bad. This is such a bad look to, and I know he only played 13 minutes and it's just an all-star game and it's not high intensity, blah, blah, blah. But you don't play the last game before the break. You don't play the first game after the break, but you do play a ridiculous, cartoonish basketball game in between.
Yeah, I'm trying to, it is the first thing that went through my mind when I saw the status report come out yesterday. And even if I'm trying to, because I can make a case, like you mentioned, about it's the All-Star game. Nobody plays in an All-Star game. They gave up 200-plus points in an All-Star game. So that kind of speaks for itself. But is there an issue with the ankle? Is there an issue with the ankle that's bad enough to where you missed the last game? Or is it just simply, guys, I'm only playing one of these back-to-backs? I think for Bron, who knows how many more All-Star games he's going to be in. So I think there is a little bit of this.
Yeah, but he's already played in 20 of them
100%.
now.
You're right.
I mean, it's
again,
not like it's his one. He's played in 20 of these things.
This is a stretch of an argument. What I would be more concerned about is, what if he misses tomorrow's game? Then I think what you're saying is there's a little bit more juice to it. And I say juice because
it just looks like crap. You know, like whether he plays tomorrow night or not, time will tell. And if he plays and he plays well, we'll move beyond it. But it's just it just looks terrible.
It's more of the, hey, I'm already not playing in back-to-backs.
Yeah.
That's the only question that I have. And if that's not the case, would I have preferred Bron not playing in a All-Star game? Sure, I would. And if I go back one more game, remember when they had the back-to-backs, and I'm drawing a blank on who they beat before the Utah Jazz
Detroit,
game.
wasn't it?
Detroit. And the conversation was, why are you playing against the Pistons and not playing at Utah?
Take the sure thing.
We need the game in Utah as well.
Yeah.
Lakers end up winning that game. I don't know if there's also could potentially be a little bit more confidence that, hey, the Lakers, when LeBron's not there, can still win games.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they don't have any chance where you would think if any other star on another team doesn't play, that's the case. So I don't have a justification.
Yeah.
I think it is a bad look. I think it tells more of a story if he ends up playing or not playing tomorrow.
The picking your spots, I get. Then back-to-back, I get. But what's interesting to me is that this is the game that we're skipping. And I understand San Antonio's next, and that's more of a sure thing. I understand the argument.
Kind of based on your argument last week.
Sure. And that it could be as simple as all that. But we're, like you just mentioned a second ago, we're into the home stretch of the season. They're playing the team that they are in a battle with to be in the 9 or the 10.
Sure.
Potentially could be the 10 or the 11. You could actually get out of the 9 or the 10 and move up to the 7 or 8. The Warriors are... You're connected to them in a weird way, right? You're connected to them. You'd much rather play that game at Crypto than have to go up to San Francisco. Yep. You'd rather not have to play it at all.
But you still have 3 more against them,
right?
Which means that's going to also influence a tiebreaker.
This could be a really important game to win. And San Antonio stinks. And I know that the Pistons stink, and the same argument that I made last week would apply to that, but this is potentially a very big game. They're close enough to missing the play-in altogether on the good side, be 6 or better, so these games are important. They're close enough to dropping out of the back end that this is important, or dropping to 10, which is back-to-back road games against teams that had a better record than you. This is, I get it, it's not the most important game of the year, but it's pretty darn important.
Let me play this out for you. Let's say they're the number 10 spot when the dust settles. And I'm going to use these standings as an example. Are they beating the Golden State Warriors on the road and Dallas or Sacramento on the road, two straight games
tough
to get
ask.
out? I don't think they're going to do it. So I think you talking about the importance of these games is incredibly fair. I mean, I don't argue that at all. I think the difference between being 9-10 and 7-8, if you're going to be in the play-in tournament,
It's massive.
Now the question is, well, where the hell are you? Last year they were in overtime away from having to play Denver potentially in the first round. And it's not even the overtime. It was also you played a Minnesota team that didn't have Gobert, Jaden McDaniels. They got actually really lucky last season to have that path that they did. I'm not questioning how important this game is because even the teams in front of you, there's no saying that Sacramento is going to collapse or Dallas is going to collapse. These are good teams too, so they could very easily just lock up those 7 and 8 down the road.
And you had 3 days between now and the All-Star game. I just think that it's so strange to have your day off before, you play 13 minutes in the All-Star game, and then you have 3 days of rest and you're not ready to go.
That's
it's
it.
just if you were actually injured, I'm not questioning if he's actually injured or
Sure.
not. But the idea that why just not take all that rest?
That's it. That's it right there. That hey, look, I don't play in back-to-backs. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then if the back-to-back is as arduous as it appears to be at this point, and I get it, like for all the reasons, but then how about this? If you feel like I am the face of the league, which he probably still is. I'm the most famous player in the league, which he probably still is.
Yeah.
I understand all this. So go there. Do the press conference, sit at the dais, put on your suit or your sweatsuit or sit on the bench, participate in the shenanigans that are going on, but playing in the actual game and then missing 2 other games that matter, it just feels, I don't know if it's just the optics of it that bother me. It just feels like it's much more about, hey, this is something where the spotlight's on me as opposed to the team needs me on this any given night. It just feels bad. It feels bad that he participated in this because if the ankle is really the thing that it is, I agree with you, Em, then let's take that full week, get off your feet, let this thing get as healthy as it possibly can, and then let's go attack this last part of the season to the best of our ability.
Well, the positive is nobody literally cares about the All-Star game, and it looks like he didn't use any effort or energy.
He's on his feet. He's running up and down.
Listen, I go back to it. If he could, let's put it this way: if he didn't play, I don't think there's any Laker fan that's saying, "I can't believe he didn't play in the All-Star game." I don't think anybody would be arguing that.
No.
Yeah.
No. First of all, I don't think anybody cares who plays in the All-Star game because it's one of those, I mean, like you said, there are 400 points scored in that game. 397 points were scored in that game. It's not a basketball game. It's
Well, the guys
I
were
don't,
just
I don't know
on.
what the hell it is.
I mean,
yeah,
Dame
exactly.
was just hitting
They
the
were
shots.
hot. The game tonight, LeBron and Steph, still the best matchup in the NBA? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The black and gold have been to the MLS Cup final the last 2 years in a row. Can they make it a third? The road starts this Saturday.
BMO Stadium is rocking for the black and gold.
LAFC are reloaded and ready for season 7, led by former World Cup champion keeper Hugo Lloris and last year's Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga.
Denny!
It's the season opener at BMO. LAFC versus Seattle. Pre-game starts Saturday at 1 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
Por la cultura.
All right, so kind of a random story. So Michelle had, I'm obviously coming back to work this morning, and about a week ago, she's like, hey, I bought us these tickets to, there's a place off Sunset in Hollywood, West Hollywood, called the Sunrose. And it's basically like a music venue, and there's a jazz band playing. And she's like, hey, I spent a pretty good amount of money for these tickets and everything else. I'm like, all right, well, nice to communicated that with me, but that wasn't even.
Did she cross-reference the Lakers schedule at least?
She did. She did all her due diligence. She did it the right way. The problem was the show wasn't going to start till 9:15
at night.
Yes,
that's late.
Late, right?
For me.
And this is, okay. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Let's say it started at 8:45, whatever time it started.
It's past 5. It's much too late.
We're sitting at our seats in West Hollywood last night.
What night of the week?
O'clock.
Oh, this was last night.
This was last night.
Did she not know it was a Wednesday?
She knew it was a Wednesday, but she's basically trying to milk my All-Star break as far as she can.
Yeah, you guys were on vacation, all that stuff.
She milked it all the way till the absolute end.
One more question. Is there an opener, or is it just this band?
Just this band.
Okay.
So here's the band. Jeff Goldblum, the actor,
okay,
is also a jazz performer and has like a full orchestra of
what instrument does he play?
He plays the piano.
Okay.
So he's doing his thing on the piano. And Em, I thought of you a lot because the entire time, first off, he is incredible.
Oh, nice.
I'm not even talking about at the piano. Just give the man a mic. And he's just...
He works the room really well?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. He's captivating. He was doing this thing where even before the show started, he's literally walking table to table. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you guys being here.
And his voice is so iconic.
Yes.
So iconic.
Yes.
And he's his mannerisms, his movement, hey, I'm looking at him and I want to keep looking at him. Even when the other band his entire band is playing.
Does he just play or does he sing?
He just plays. He does not sing. Just plays. But so what he would do is like after they would, let's say, play 2 songs, somebody would come and hand him a sheet of paper. And he'd say, I have no idea what's on the sheet of paper. Of course he knows. And he, grabs the microphone. He gets from the room and go, okay, here's what we're going to do. He's like, he'd say, Oscar award-winning quotes. And it was going to be, let's use the last year of these different movies that are out that are most popular, and it would be a quote from Oppenheimer, right? Let's just use it.
I feel the need for speed.
What?
Okay, sorry. I was going serious. You were going not serious at all.
Both of you at the same time. My mind didn't know what to do. My mind got trapped. But
like Oppenheimer says, what if until they build a bigger bomb?
Yep, and then everybody would shout what movie it is and this and that. And he would, he was doing that there was some stuff on the Grammys, and it was the top 5. It was The Weeknd. It was Taylor Swift. It was whatever. He did another thing where it was, all right, let's just play a game. I'm just going to start with a movie, and then we got to go actor or actress, and let's just see where it ends up going. So let's just say you started with Moneyball, and then it was Brad Pitt, and then it was Fight Club, and then it was, and you just kind of kept going.
Connections.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But again, the reason why I'm saying this is,
Emily, you should have been there for that.
that's what. No, she would have loved it because there was. First off, the music's really good. Nobody, I think, really dislikes jazz. It might not be your favorite, but nobody, I think, really dislikes it. So you got the music. But I was looking more forward to when this guy was going to grab a mic and he was going to just kind of own the room.
I had
no
idea you went and saw this until you told me now.
Yeah.
And oddly, because this is my passion in life, I like to collect random stories of things, right?
Yeah.
I met Jeff Goldblum one time.
Okay.
I used to work at a production facility not far from here, right in Emily, what's the little town that you lived in when you first moved here, right?
Highland Park?
Highland Park. There was a little movie studio there called Lacey Street Studios. It might still be there. I don't know. But I worked in there one summer during college, and they would shoot like kind of independent films and music videos and things like that. But they had all these. Jeff Goldblum was in one of these little movies that they were making. And we had this little office that he just walked into, and he, like to your point, he filled up the room with this charisma that was just unreal. That it's like, well, no wonder he's a movie star. And it wasn't because, like, if you said to me, name some Jeff Goldblum movies, I know he's in Jurassic Park, that he's in The Fly, but I couldn't list. It's not like it's Al Pacino or De Niro.
He's more of an entity than he is a character, which is kind of funny.
And he comes in, and you're like, and he just, hey, I'm Jeff, and he'd introduce himself to the people that worked in this place. And he's like, okay, if you need anything, and we're like, that was amazing. And he didn't even do anything, but it was amazing to interact with it.
It was so, like, effortless.
Yeah.
You know, like, he wasn't even, it was just another day in the office for him. Yeah. But you would have loved the trivia that was out there. The music was good, and it was 10:30 on a Wednesday. I'm like, I got to get home.
It's lunacy.
Goodness.
And she had a call this morning that started at 7 a.m. I'm like, what the heck?
Sacrifices you make for Jeff Goldblum. I have two things. One, this is not the rabbit hole that I'm going to use, but there is a guy who does TikToks and does Instagram stuff that he does imitations or like what's it called when you just mimic some? I guess impressions. Yeah. Very good impressions, and he will do them to these celebrities. So he'll stop like John Oliver in the street in New York City, and he's like, "Oh, I do a good John Oliver," and John Oliver's like, "What is going on?" He does Jeff Goldblum, and it's fantastic. So that's one cool thing. Also, another thing, the thing you're talking about, kind of like, oh, connections to this, that. I got a card game for Christmas, I think last year, and it's essentially this. So you try to find within 6 separations the connections between these two actors and actresses. So it's like a card game, so it's just faces of these people.
Yeah.
So you'll flip it over, and it's Jeff Goldblum. Flip another one over, and it's Brad Pitt. And you have to find a way in 6 tries.
Oh, that's cool.
How to get these two people connected.
That's like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. So very cool game, and you can also have different variations of it. But I like to play it with my friends, and it's really fun.
That's good. I would play that game. I would be terrible at it, but I would like it. I like those little games like that. The game tonight is not as good because LeBron's not going to play. Now, whether the Lakers can they win? Sure, they can. We've seen them win without LeBron. They're 4-3 without him this year.
Actually, there's a lot of in the games that he's not there. It's a different brand of basketball. It's an exciting, fast-paced, up and down, youngsters.
I got a word for it. Mm-hmm. It's more fun. 2 words. It's not the Lakers have to have LeBron James. If whatever the Lakers are going to accomplish in the postseason,
LeBron's got to be there.
Involves LeBron James. However far they go in the playoffs involves LeBron James. The end of games must include LeBron James.
That's a good way to put it. Yep.
They're a lot more fun to watch when he doesn't play. Because they play faster. They play with more energy. They play with more urgency. They play that LeBron is the sun in that solar system, and everything moves a little slower for all the obvious reasons. D'Angelo was talking about how he had a epiphany a couple of weeks ago, not the most recent Utah game, but the one prior to it, where he realized I need to do more.
Oh, yeah.
Me.
I think the game he had 39.
Right. That I need to do me first, and if I am super aggressive about getting what I need to get done, that opens it up for everyone else. When if I'm just standing there passing it to these guys, that does nothing. That it needs to run through me, oddly, for them to get involved in. And you can see it clear as day when LeBron's not there. And when LeBron is there, you can still see it in the times that D'Angelo is out there, but it's different. That without him, it's a much more fun watch. Whether it's a better team, it's not. Whether they need him for the playoffs, they obviously do. But turning on your TV, like the night that, what was it, in late January, where Steph and LeBron put on that show. It's the best game of the year. It's the best regular season game of the
overtime.
year. Double overtime. LeBron hits the winning free. Steph had, what, 50 or close
Something
to
like
it.
That. Hits that 3. Yep.
It was crazy. It was just a
Draymond
crazy
knocked
game.
over Anthony Davis.
Right. That whole thing was just bonkers. That's the exception to the LeBron games now. The LeBron games are much more methodical. They're much more deliberate than what we saw there. And maybe we're not going to get what we saw in January, but maybe we'll get a fun, up and down, kind of looser, faster, quicker, more fun game.
I don't know if it's the best example, but it makes me think of, listen, this is very, very premature. Before Lakers traded for Anthony Davis and before LeBron came over, it was like, what could this young team be? And it's Ingram and it's, Lonzo, it's all these guys. It was fun at times to watch them play because there was the excitement of watching young players, but you knew you're not going to win.
Right.
There's the reality. LeBron and Anthony Davis was, hey, they got a real chance of winning. You need these stars to win.
Yep.
I think the way you laid it out was perfect. And in a perfect world for the Lakers, they can have Bron sit some games and they could still win games.
They're not dead in the water without it.
They're not dead in the water. I think I'll use tonight's game as an example. They're 4-3 without him. Well, go look at the details. I think it's a win against Portland, Utah, San Antonio. So it's not like these are unbelievable games. They won against the Celtics, but AD didn't play in that game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's saying that in a 7-game set, you have to have LeBron James. You got to have him healthy the whole thing. During the regular season, can you get away with some games? I think you can. I don't think tonight is a Lakers have no shot.
No.
It will be a difficult game. Golden State's actually playing better basketball.
It can't be a have they no shot because this is an important game.
Yeah.
Where they land at the end of the season is very likely to come down to a game or two, and specifically maybe a game or two against Golden State. This is a big deal tonight.
Yep.
They need to do whatever you can to win this game, and LeBron not being there gives them less of a chance to win the game. It might be more fun to watch, but it won't be a better chance without your second best player.
Yep.
And he's clearly that. Hey, did you see? With Brian Cohen. Coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. 13 years in a row out. That's how many times that Rotolo Chevrolet has won Dealer of the Year for Chevrolet. 13 times in a row. And they take care of people. I mean, I don't mean to make it sound so simple, but that's exactly what it is. They take care of people with the right car or truck. The Chevy Silverado that I'm driving right now, the High Country, forget about it. Just an unbelievable rig. But no matter what you're looking at, whether it's the Silverado or any of the Chevy cars or trucks, they've got the make and model that you're looking for. The pricing is exactly what you had in mind. And, of course, the customer service. That's the difference. You're going to feel good about it. It's transparent, it's upfront, it's courteous, and you're going to know what's going on. How good does that feel? You don't feel like I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Never at Rotolo Chevrolet. That's how they win Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. So if you've been thinking about it, get yourself out to Rotolo. It's right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, right there in Fontana. You can't miss it. And if you can't get out to the store, go online, rotolochevy.com. You're still going to have that same great experience online, ROTOLO, rotolochevy.com, and make sure you tell them that Travis
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see? Did you happen to see? It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this?
Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
So Brian Cohen is in for Jorge today. Jorge and his lovely wife Brenda are expecting
Getting closer
their baby any minute now. They're on the 1 yard line, and it could be any minute. So Brian Cohen is the foo for today. Hey, did you see? What do you got, Brian?
All right, fools. So, kicking it off today, I saw it was National Chili Day. Now, this has got to be my favorite
Marge,
national
where
day
are my
of all.
chili boots?
Yeah, I love chili. It's probably the best thing that I personally make, in my opinion. Best chili, in my opinion, is with bison.
Oh.
And if you've never tried it, you got to try it. Adds a little spice. But
Okay.
what is your favorite? What are your ingredients going into your favorite chili?
So this is like this could start holy wars, the beans or no beans war in Chile, right? I
didn't know that was such a divisive.
Oh my gosh!
I feel like it's more of a Texas thing.
Throw some beans in there. What's the problem?
Texas, if you put a bean in a Texas person's chili, they
having
want to
an
go
issue?
to war. It is an
Texas?
affront to their Texanhood if there are beans in their chili. I like beans in my chili.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
No
me
problem.
too. So, all right, here it is. I like to put 3 different types of beans in my chili. I like to put pinto beans, black beans, and kidney beans. I put all 3 in my chili.
A lot of beans.
I put jalapenos. I put green peppers, onions, garlic, cumin, chili powder, and ground meat. Whatever ground meat you may be choosing. I don't know if you do the bison, Brian. I've not had, more often than not, it's just straight ground beef for me. Occasionally make it with some turkey, but and then Fritos and cheddar cheese as accoutrement are absolutely necessary.
Pristine. Oh, the Fritos on top.
And you can't beat that.
Yeah.
So growing up, we weren't making chili. What you just described there sounds like an amazing chili bowl.
Pretty good.
I don't know if you said you put any pico de gallo on top, you put any guacamole on top,
and a can of crushed tomatoes too in the chili.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only everything you just said, and just for my toppings. Let me get some guacamole in there. Let me get some pico de gallo on there.
I've never done the guac. I've done the pico. Pico's good.
Yeah.
But pico, all the stuff that's in pico is already in the chili.
Yeah.
The tomatoes, onions, jalapenos, except for the cilantro.
I don't have an issue with the beans. Throw the beans in there. Maybe some cheddar cheese on top, something along those lines, and we're good to go.
For me, one of the things that I like your recipe. I think I might take out the jalapenos. I'm not a big jalapeno person.
Love jalapenos.
It just is not my favorite thing
Sure.
to add in there. But
Can I make a suggestion?
sure.
De-seed the jalapeno and then put it into the chili bowl. Because is it the heat you don't like, or is it the flavor?
It just doesn't
She
really
doesn't
do
like
anything
it,
for me.
bro.
I'm just trying to help. I'm just giving her options.
I can make my own chili. But the thing is, I also, with the meat, it's a weird thing. I like, if I'm going to get like a beef or a ground turkey, ground pork, I like to get, instead of, there's versions of the meat that is packaged where it has the cellophane over top and it's just kind of the chunk. Instead of doing that, I get the ones that like kind of crushed into a box.
The vacuum packed one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it crumbles in a better way than the other meat because it's already kind of smushed together and it makes it more smooth and more, it's not as chunky.
Oh, see, I'm looking for the chunk.
See, I like it to kind
chunky
of
chili.
almost be like smaller pieces kind of dissolved into the chili.
You told me something a week or two ago that you put in that I'd never, a liquid, and I'm blanking on what it was.
Chicken broth.
Chicken broth.
Or no, but beef broth.
Beef broth. Okay.
I like it a little more runny too. So there's differences of chilies. But okay, another great chili. I like white chicken chili. So it's like it's
a
very,
different vibe.
It's a more Midwestern.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. So it's like creamier, and it has I put like Hatch chilies in it, which is great. Pulled chicken. You got some white beans in there.
I'm not against that.
It's
That
really
sounds
good.
really good.
It's almost like potato soup, but with no potatoes.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. And I also, honestly, I make that a little spicier. I also usually put a little bit of the taco package seasoning in that.
Okay.
So it's more like it's more taco-y than it is chili-like.
Brian, I'm going to step out on a limb here and guess that you're a Frito pie man.
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Delicious. Can never
Slee?
go wrong.
Frito pie.
It's not what you think. It's a bag of Fritos with a scoop of chili. You shake it up and you eat the Fritos out of it.
Maybe a little cheese on top.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with what you just said. Are we sure it's not melting through anything?
No, because the bag's kind of like foil bag.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The bag of
the
the bag maintains its integrity, and like you said, a little cheese.
They would sell that at swim meets.
Yeah.
Like, I would have one of those and then go swim like a 200 freestyle.
How did that work out for you?
Fine. I was a kid. I could eat anything.
I used to sell those at my high school some days.
Frito pie?
Yeah. Lunchtime. Oh, great.
Yeah. I mean, why not? You got one more for us?
I got one more for you. So EA Sports finalized their NIL deal with the NCAA for the NCAA 25, I believe is what it is, coming out this year.
Football.
Yeah, football game. First one, I think, since 2013 that's going to be coming out. So about 10-year, 11-year hiatus. Each player that opts in is going to get $600 and a copy of the game. So
that's like another $60-$70.
Right. So, I mean, there's so much hype on this game. Do you think $600 is enough for the opting into the game?
So I think for some players, it's going to be, hey, they just want to be a part of the game. Give me the 600. Cool. But I think when you start thinking of the real players, why would they do that? Like, what would be the $600 is a slap in the face to a lot of these players that are now just starting to get a taste of NIL and getting some real money. So could it just be, hey, I want to be a part of the game? I don't know how many of those elite athletes are going to say, I just want to be a part of the game. I would think that we're at a stage right now in college football and in college athletics in general, I want a cut. I want a real cut, not this.
This is the beginning of them getting it right. This is the first step of them getting it right, because this is where, and forgive me for being an ugly American, this is where capitalism will win the day. That if you're Caleb Williams, $600, get that out of here. Come on. Do you know how much money I make? Beat it. No, you can't use my name. If you're the backup placeholder on kicks, $600 in the game's a good deal. The market will find, and then EA, are they the ones that are selling the game, I believe?
Yeah, EA.
So EA will figure out that, hey, we don't actually need the biggest names in it. People are buying the game. Or if none of the names that we need are in it, they're going to offer more than $600, or they're going to stop making the game, right? This will find its own level because...
Legality, can there be layers to this? Because I don't know how... Can they treat one player differently than the other? I would assume they can.
Yeah.
But that's why the 600 price point kind of throws me off.
So what it would be, my guess would be, and I'm just guessing here, okay, you need to accept the 600 in the game, and we will also sign you to a marketing agreement to be an EA Sports ambassador, and here's another 500,000 or whatever the number is.
You get a cut if you want to make upgrades to your playership, like if they want to get you a different jersey or something, that you get the cut of it.
That's a great idea,
here's what happens. Here's what would happen. Say everyone gets a flat 600 in the game. Okay, so then you pay, if Caleb Williams is on the cover of NCAA 25, he gets obviously more money for being the face of the cover of this thing, like the Madden guys get it. And then if you're Caleb Williams, you can say, okay, I'll take your 600 and the copy of the game, but you need to give me 5% stake in this game's revenue, or however percent it would be. Say, so the game does well because Caleb Williams is in it.
If you're a college athlete and you need an agent,
let the market figure it out.
Let Emily go to work.
Right. Let the market figure it out. It will. It will do its thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't do its thing overnight, but it does do its thing. They will figure out who to pay, who not to pay, and how much to pay.
What you said was the most important thing in the beginning. The conversation's happening.
Yeah.
That's all you're asking for, is just have the conversation and move from there.
Yamamoto will be in the game because he has $350 million, at least in the baseball game. He'll be in the show. Is $350 million actually the bargain of the offseason? It might be. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The black and gold have been to the MLS Cup final the last 2 years in a row. Can they make it a third? The road starts this Saturday.
BMO Stadium is rocking for the black and gold.
LAFC are reloaded and ready for season 7, led by former World Cup champion keeper Hugo Lloris and last year's Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga.
Denny!
It's the season opener at BMO. LAFC versus Seattle. Pre-game starts Saturday at 1 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
working the room as he's doing it is the most Jeff Goldblum thing
He's got
ever.
all that apartments.com money, all that Priceline money.
By the way, that's real.
He had Super Bowl ads. He's in the Super Bowl ads.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the face of apartments.homes.com, whatever it is. But yeah, so taking this back to yesterday, every time the music was playing, as you could tell, this is good like background music. You're doing your thing,
I
whatever.
feel like drinking a martini as I listen to that.
Yeah. It's kind of had that vibe.
Sure.
The vibe was very much that. And then it's like, all right, the music stops. He grabs a mic. And I'm like, I was most interested when he stopped and grabbed a mic. I thought of you yesterday. So I thought of Emily because of the trivia or the questions that were around some of the movies and everything else. I thought of you because as I'm pulling up to this place, Michelle tells me, she's like, hey, probably going to have to park valet.
Ugh.
And I'm like, all right, you know what? The world's not going to end.
Might.
I'm definitely taking a round before I park valet. Like, I need to see if we could squeeze in here to one of these meters or if there's a lot, 2 blocks down or something like that. As long as she's okay, we're taking a lap. And by the way, West Hollywood, not exactly an area on Sunset where you could just
hard to lap
here.
in West Hollywood.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
So I go to one lot, and it was $2 an hour. And I'm like, oh, this is great. Full. Okay. So I get out of there. I basically just now decide I'm going to go park valet. As I'm getting ready to park valet, we've never been into this venue before. There's a meter. And I'm like, all right, read the meter. The meter is basically 7 pages long, right? They're going to find a way to get your ass with these meters. 3 to 5, this, permit, blah, blah. But I look, and I'm like, all right, it's 2 hour max. So we're going to probably be there for about 2.5 hours, how long the show is going to be. Got there at 8. It's probably going to go till, let's say, 10:30 or so. So I'm like, do I roll the dice here? In West Hollywood and in most of these areas, if they could get you.
They're getting you.
They're
gonna
funding
freaking
the
get
city
you.
through parking tickets.
They are going to get you. But here's the decision that I have to make. $4 or $25 at the valet.
25.
Knowing that I could also risk getting a ticket.
Yeah.
That's going to be another $75 if I
And
do it.
you're waiting for the line at the valet after the show's over. Yeah.
So Michelle is like, don't take the chance, just park valet. And I sat there. I was already parked. I already parked in the meter spot. And I just sat there thinking about it. I'm like, Brian, sometimes you got to take chances in life.
What?
Took the chance, did the 2 hours, and came out to my car. Nothing on my car.
Oh, you made it.
Only thing that was there was the red that just kept going off in the meter of like, hey, you're
done.
over, buddy. You're over. So I paid $4 instead of 25. 25 was like 25 is my max threshold. If
That's
25 made me circle the block.
But it's the perfect price point for them because you did the math, you took the chance. I would have never taken the chance. I would have paid the 25 and just said, "You're not getting me for 100 on the parking ticket." I'm not doing that.
There is a parking meter person right now driving around West Hollywood saying, I'm going to find your ass next time, Sliwa. I'm going to find your ass.
If you ever find yourself in that situation again, you're in West Hollywood, you're looking for a parking space, I
Drive
think
home?
that too. Take the bus, take an Uber. But no, the West Hollywood Library has a lot of parking, and it's a very low fee. And you can usually get your things validated there. So I go there to swim. And fantastic. So if anyone out there is looking, West Hollywood parking garage is actually pretty solid.
Well, and I thought about you because you always talk about how much you despise paying valet.
hate it.
I'm okay, but can I get 10 or 15? Like 25 seems
25 is
like
a lot. 25 is a lot. But if in West, like for instance, in where I live, you don't have to work too hard to find something. You can always find something. So the price point for me is zero where I live. I'm gonna find a spot on my own.
Yeah.
On the west side of town, it's a totally different animal.
Different.
And I'm a chicken to getting a ticket. This is important. We got to go to Simi Valley and Rick. Rick, you're on with Travis Lee. What's going on?
Hey, guys. Thank you very much. I have a really embarrassing story about you guys were saying about Frito pies.
Yeah.
And we used to call them, back when I was in Little League, we used to call them pepper bellies.
Oh, sure.
And, so I'd go to a baseball game, and my mom used to work in the little food shack, volunteer. And so I would usually get like 2. And one day I was staying after the game because we only lived like 2 blocks away from the park. So I had a couple. My mom went home, and later on, and within a few minutes, I came down with this excruciating abdominal pain.
Wonder why?
Yeah, that's crazy. Must have been something you drank.
And it was so bad that I barely made it home walking like 2 blocks. And then they took me to the emergency room, my mom, and in excruciating pain the whole time, like didn't know what was going on. And they took I can't believe I'm saying this on the air, but they took an X-ray, and there was a giant gas bubble that they could see on X-ray pressed up against my ribs. And it was just terrible. But when you guys were saying about those things, and
Frito pies.
Really
Have you had a
Rick?
Frito pie / pepper belly since then, Rick?
Well, not in that form. My mom and my wife make killer chilies, so we always, in 2 different versions. My wife is from Mexico, so she has her version, and so yeah, I still do Fritos and cheese and onions and,
Yes.
and sour cream, stuff like that. But yeah, that was it
Play
was
it
brutal.
safe.
I was in,
Be
I was
careful
in
out there.
Yeah, it was serious pain at that. I was like 11 years old.
I'm glad that you made it through, Rick. I'm glad that the treatment was just getting rid of the gas bubble. That's very good. That we didn't need to have some sort of intervention.
Was going there.
Look, Rick, just 1 is the proper amount of Frito pies.
Yeah, I was a big kid, so I was a big kid for my age. And so I always had extra. So yeah, that was my
Good for you.
downfall.
Look, I could certainly relate. Thank you, thank you, Rick. I too was one of those. I'll take another one, and that's when my mom would go, "No, he won't take another one. That's fine. He's had enough." And I'd look at her like, "What are you doing? If 1's good, 2's better." Turns out mom
What kind of
knows.
mother is this?
Mom knew what she was getting into. Did you see the video that was going around? Not of Yamamoto and Ohtani speaking Spanish, which was awesome. I think here you go. Here's that.
Dile, buenos días. Buenos días. Dodgers. Sí, buenos días, fanáticos.
¿Fanático?
Sí, fanáticos. Fans.
¿Fanático?
Fanáticos.
Buenos días, fanático.
Sí. Llama.
Hey.
Buenos días. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
There you go. Buenos días, people.
So that's Tasker Hernandez trying to teach Ohtani and Yamamoto how to say "Good morning, fans" in Spanish.
There's another 500 jersey sales, 500,000 jersey sales right there.
Well, I like that Hernandez is almost kind of bullying Yamamoto into no, buenos dias. Like he's like, say it. He's a little aggressive. I like it. So there was that, but a day or 2 before that, another video that the Dodgers put up was of Yamamoto's first bullpen at Camelback Ranch. And Dodgers getting ready to play their first game in less than an hour here. Slee, I've watched a lot of baseball. I've watched, and I've seen guys that are just you see Verlander, you see Ohtani, you see Kershaw and these guys, and they're amazing. They're Hall of Famers and all of this sort of stuff. I don't know if I've ever seen what Yamamoto was doing. You couldn't even see the ball coming in until it was about halfway there, and then it was just this blur that was making the catcher's glove snap over and over and over again. So I did a Yamamoto rabbit hole, started reading about this guy, and I know that he was the best pitcher in the Japanese league. I know that he was integral to their success in the World Baseball Classic. I know that all of the major league teams were on him to try to get him to sign with their organization. I did not know that he was the 3-time defending most valuable player in the Japanese league. I did not know that. And look, he's a pitcher. He's going to break eventually because they all do. Kershaw, broken. Walker Buehler, broken twice. Ohtani, broken twice. May, broken twice. They break. It's just, it's the price of doing business. But I'm not so sure that if they get 2 or 3 or 4 years out of the front end of this guy and he's doing what I just saw, and if he's even close to what the tails are like, if this isn't the thing that they did this offseason that's actually the biggest difference between them winning the World Series. And I know Ohtani's going to hit his 40 jacks. He's going to, right? If he's healthy, he's going to hit 40 home runs. But if this dude shows up and is MVP level good, I mean, he was the MVP 3 times in a row in the second best league in the world. That's not nothing. That's an extraordinary player that is kind of oh yeah, we got him too.
You know what's crazy is, and the last thing that you said is I think the most important thing. When Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers, he puts out his post on Instagram. It was the day before that everybody thought, hey, is he on his way to Toronto? Remember all the stories that Shohei sucked up so much air from the room that no matter what happened after that was going to be a side story. And I think Yamamoto is a perfect example of it. Yamamoto, I was trying to make the case that, hey, I don't don't think he's going to sign with the Dodgers. Why is he going to share some of this, not even share, be kind of in the shadow of Shohei, at least for now? Maybe in a year, 2 years, whatever the case is, that's different. And Yamamoto's getting. I kept saying to myself, I'm like, why doesn't he just go to New York and he's going to go get the New York market? He's going to go get, whether it's the Mets or the Yankees, you get your own shine. You're still going to get the same amount of money, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know he won what you just said. I didn't know he was that dominating in that league. I know
that's a real league too. It's important to quantify that. That's a real league. That's not college baseball.
No.
That's not some
minor leagues.
It's a real league with major league caliber players in it.
And I didn't know he was that dominant there. I didn't know that he won the equivalent of the Cy Young Award or the most valuable player, 3 of those in a row. He's only 25 years old. There is probably going to be a point at some point this year where there's so much attention on Shohei Ohtani, and Ohtani's going to have these unbelievable highlights, and something's going to happen, and everybody's going to be watching it on X and everything else or Twitter. Yamamoto's going to have times where we're going to sit there and that dude just strike out 12 in a game and look like it was
like he's playing catch.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But don't you agree that that's going to be a more interesting story than I think Shohei? And I only say that because I've seen Shohei do it here for 6 years.
That's why Shohei Ohtani has 6 years in Major League Baseball. That while it's still mind-bendingly crazy what Ohtani does, we've seen it. Yamamoto's new, and Yamamoto is going to pitch this year. We won't see Ohtani for another year. And if he goes out there and does something like this, I really do feel like the money that they spent on him, the money that they spent on Ohtani, that this is going to be the best money you could spend because, and we can talk about this coming up next, Slee, the Dodgers are doing in Japan what they did in the Caribbean in the 60s and 70s. They're ahead of the game in a place where there are nothing but capable players, and they've already staked their flag in a way that I think everyone else is running to catch up on. Plus, I don't know what this means, but I'm excited. Kirk is catching a few strays. Kirk Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
The Black and Gold have been to the MLS Cup Final the last 2 years in a row. Can they make it a third? The road starts this Saturday.
BMO Stadium is rocking for the Black and Gold.
LAFC are reloaded and ready for Season 7, led by former World Cup champion keeper Hugo Lloris and last year's Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga.
Denny!
It's the season opener at BMO. LAFC versus Seattle. Pre-game starts Saturday at 1 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
Strategy. No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
The Autumn Wind is a Raider. Such a great song, such a great poem. It's amazing. But the reason we're playing it.
It sounds, by the way, also a lot better in like September.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get, as the season progresses, you just don't see the Raiders.
What's the first thing, other than the Raiders, what's the first thing you think of when you hear this? Like, is there a specific person?
Al Davis, but that's
NFL
Raider.
Films,
Yeah.
and who's the big guy on the Raiders? They shot him from below, and it's just like he looks like this giant. I'm blanking on who this person is.
Well, it could have been Art Shell. It could have been Ted Hendricks. It could have been.
I mean, it's Art Shell. Anyway.
It could have been a bunch of Lyle Alzado. There was a bunch of guys.
Al Davis in that Raider jacket, and
that's number one, followed really closely by John Madden.
Yeah.
Like I think of John Madden on the sidelines in the 70s with that song playing. The reason we're playing it today is because FanDuel did our boy Kirk Morrison dirty.
Yeah, what the heck, FanDuel? What's going on here?
Kirk, who of course played 9 years in the NFL, the majority of them with the Oakland Raiders, got done dirty by FanDuel.
Yeah.
FanDuel sent out a tweet that said, Emily, do you want to read it?
Yeah, it says, the tweet says, it's kind of like this trope they're using right now on Twitter. It's getting popular. So it's name a forgotten linebacker in NFL history. And it says, I'll start Kirk Morrison with a picture of Kirk when he was on the Raiders. And then Kirk quote tweets and responds, never thought I would catch a stray on a Thursday. I think this is a compliment, right, FanDuel?
FanDuel, who, a lot of people play, with FanDuel.
Follow on Twitter, yeah.
Just immediately name a forgotten is the troublesome word,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, what the heck?
Like if you said old school or a guy you remember or, somebody who wasn't an all-pro.
Do you know how many linebackers they could have picked?
Forgotten. Kirk Morrison. My man, Kirk. Do not let them do you like this.
The fiercest linebacker to ever play the game.
That's right. And, by the way, maybe one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life.
That part is definitely true.
He sent me a video on his birthday of him. He was this close to Taylor Swift.
Oh, really?
Because he was interviewing Travis Kelce, I believe, for
I saw that too.
So he was right there, and he was this close to Taylor Swift, and I was like, Kirk, that's so cool. So, Kirk, I don't forget about you. You're amazing. Come on.
I've got your back, Kirk. You were not forgotten
Part of the
in my
Rams
world.
radio broadcast. Every time during the NFL season, he's traveling somewhere doing something. Forgotten.
Okay, he's not listening, right? Because that's really funny. That's the person that they picked is awesome. And like he said, it's a compliment. So stay strong, Kirk. 52 forever. It's so good. Kirk is perfect.
I know.
Right? That's the perfect person for what they're going for. But that's what they went with. That's not cool. That's my friend. You don't get to do that to my guy.
Bastards.
That's no good at all. Yamamoto's here. Ohtani's here.
Yeah.
The next big thing, this guy named Roki Sasaki, who is, I believe he's 21 years old.
Okay.
He throws 102 miles an hour.
Sure, why not?
He is the best pitcher now that Yamamoto's gone, he's the best pitcher in the Japanese league right now. And the rumors have already started that he's making, love eyes at the Dodgers, that he's looking over there like, hey, I might want to go hang out with those guys. The Japanese rules, they have to post him before anybody could go get him, but we're already talking about that.
But he could be available next season.
Next season, potentially. It's not a sure thing, but potentially, I believe he's a member of the Chiba Lot Marines. Mm-hmm. So if the Marines posted him, then somebody could claim him. Right, and everybody would try, and then it would be like when Ohtani chose the Angels. It would be a similar situation to that. So they might get him. The Dodgers also kind of were way ahead of the curve when they were one of the first teams to dip their toe into the Japanese player pool with Hideo Nomo a million years ago, right? And Nomo was a sensation.
Yeah.
He was the rookie of the year, and he was a high-level major league pitcher for a period of time. And then all the other great Japanese players that came through, whether it's Ichiro, and we all know those guys. They kind of went over. But the Dodgers are doing in Japan right now what the Dodgers and the Baltimore Orioles did in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, which is they went down to the Caribbean, they went down to Latin America, and they established an identity in those places that were loaded with talented baseball players, and they developed those baseball players, and a generation of Caribbean and Latin talent wanted to play for the Dodgers or the Orioles. Guess who the best teams through the 60s, 70s, and 80s were? They were the Dodgers and the Orioles. It's not a coincidence. They had a pipeline of talent that was coming through there. They built academies in places like the Dominican Republic to develop talent to say, okay, we'll take him, we'll take him, we'll take him. These kids are fighting to get into these places. Now, that's not what's happening in Japan, but they're doing the same thing a different way. They're branding themselves as the place that great Japanese players come to. And they got the best one in Ohtani. They have maybe the second best one we're going to find out in Yamamoto. And if those guys hit in Dodger uniforms and everybody in Japan is watching every Dodger game and consuming Dodger content, to give you an idea, this year, the Dodgers have been Googled twice as much in Japan as they have in the United States.
What?
Yes. In Japan, the Google rate is twice as high as it is in the United States for the Dodgers. So there will be another Yamamoto. There will be another Sasaki. I don't know if there's going to be another Ohtani, but there'll be other great players. And if they grow up wanting to be Dodgers because the Dodgers planted their flag there most prominently, most recently, forget it.
I don't, it's kind of funny. I get the angle of that. I don't know if I want to give the Dodgers credit of planting a flag in Japan. I think I'd give the Dodgers credit for running a really good organization that when the time came for Shohei Ohtani to pick where he's going to plant his flag for the next X amount of years, the Dodgers just made the most sense because of all the things that they've done over these last 10, 11 years.
You got to keep in mind, the Dodgers wanted him twice before, and he wanted the Dodgers. It just logistically, it couldn't work out. There wasn't a designated hitter at the time in the National League, so he couldn't come and do both.
But can I give you an example? Let's say the Dodgers, part of his contract had Andrew Friedman in there. Hey, if something happens to Friedman and
no, that's a huge part of it.
But what I'm saying is that if over these last 5 years, while Shohei Ohtani was sitting in Anaheim and had no chance of making the playoffs, the Dodgers were a mid-level team. They were just an average team. I don't know if Shohei signs, which then gets Yamamoto here and everything else. I think we got to give them, I think, more credit for you've built something. You're basically 100 wins every single year. You got a legitimate chance. And then you have all the other reasons, the ties to Japan. I think I told you when I was in Tokyo this past summer, there are two hats being worn. Now it's different. There's a style to it as well where it's Dodgers and Yankees are being worn.
LA, New York.
And I don't think they know who Gavin Lux is and know what his...
They do now.
Well, now they do. But I think there's a little bit... It actually is just a compliment towards how well the Dodgers have been run to lay the foundation for some of these players to come.
Also, this came out earlier this week. The Phillies offered more money to Yamamoto, and Yamamoto was a fan of the Dodgers, obviously a fan of playing with Shohei Ohtani, but that... something like that where these kids are going to be fans of the Dodgers. They might take less money, likely not, but might take less money to come to play for the Dodgers if it's a good deal.
As long as it's close. This is not unlike what the Yankees did back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, where before there was a draft, you just kind of teams would go around and you wanted to be on the Yankees. There's a reason Joe DiMaggio followed Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle followed Joe DiMaggio. It's because where do I want to go? I want to go there. And it's not because they were good.
Lakers.
That's a huge part of it. The Lakers, that's the place that the best guys go.
That's where legends
are made. That's where it goes. They don't go to the Kansas City Royals. They don't go to the Minnesota Twins. And that's what the draft is supposed to do, is to disperse that talent. But this international stuff is totally different. It's a totally different way to collect players, and the Dodgers have become the brand.
And everyone has had a shot. Think of the teams that were in the running for Yamamoto. It was every big market team that you could think of. You think if the Phillies, if they could have offered $300 million, if the Red Sox, the number wasn't the issue. It was, where does he want to play?
And
Dodgers.
Where can you win, like you were talking about as well. They've got it cranked up. Now all I have to do is not go blow it. And I mean that as both a joke, and I mean that as the most legitimate, straightforward fact in the world. Yep. Now you have to actually go win your 100 or so games, and then do the thing that you haven't been able to do.
And even if you do the 100,
doesn't matter.
Nobody's going to care.
No, it'll be fun to watch. But when it's 0-0, here comes Arizona again. They won 84.
Yeah.
Now what? And you lose the first game 2-1.
Put the Padres in there. Can Padres get 84? Thank you.
74.
No, not 84.
Give the Padres. It's probably going to be Colorado this year, or the Giants, or some other
just
team.
rotating
just go
in the
through
NL
it.
West.
And now all of a sudden you're down 1-0, and because you got 3 hits, It's like, okay, now what? That's when you need your Yamamoto, your Glasnow, your rebuilt Walker
When Freddie
Buehler.
Freeman slides in the first and gets a hit.
Wasn't great. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. Is your vehicle ready? Is it ready for service? Are you due for your general maintenance tune-up? It's time to get those wipers replaced. That's something you got to get done around here. That sound is the absolute worst. So you can get that fixed. You can get that taken care of when you go to Valvoline Instant Oil Change, because it is the home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. For over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you. I actually sent my daughter Kelly in there the other day. Her wipers needed to be replaced, and she doesn't know how to do it, and I wasn't going to send her to go buy something. Like, go into Valvoline and get this done. In, out, 15 minutes down the road. Like a NASCAR pit crew working on her car, and she was done. And while she was there, we did the rest of it too, right? Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, so many other things at Valvoline. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. Over 80 locations ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time. So visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
The black and gold have been to the MLS Cup Final the last 2 years in a row. Can they make it a third? The road starts this Saturday.
BMO Stadium is rocking for the black and gold.
LAFC are reloaded and ready for Season 7, led by former World Cup champion keeper Hugo Lloris and last year's Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga.
Denny!
It's the season opener at BMO. LAFC versus Seattle. Pre-game starts Saturday at 1 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
Cap.
Hey guys,
Hey,
welcome
Em.
Berg.
Hi.
We still have signs of life from Jorge. He did text us. He texted me Shohei Ohtani saying "Hola." So clearly, maybe I don't know if baby boy is here yet or not. But shouts out to Jorge, Brenda.
Countdown.
Good
Countdown.
luck. Hope that baby is healthy and happy, and the mom too. All right. So what I'm gonna start with is this. Do you guys know who Bridget Mendler is?
I do not.
No.
Okay. So it's okay. She was a Disney Channel star back kind of like at the cusp of when I stopped watching Disney Channel. So I was aware of her, but it wasn't like That's So Raven or like Hilary Duff where
Do you know what show she was on?
Good Luck Charlie.
Riley loved it.
So did Kelly.
Yeah.
I can speak to Good Luck Charlie. Go ahead.
So Good Luck Charlie was her main show. She was also in a movie called Lemonade Mouth. So those are the two main things that
Was she the big sister in Good Luck Charlie?
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly who she is.
Look at
Exactly.
you, Trav.
All right, so Bridget
Knowledge
Mendler
everywhere.
has a fascinating life. Okay, so she was on Disney Channel. She was an actress from the age of 13. She was put on Good Luck Charlie when she was 17. So she was a young woman when she did that. And so then after, so we've all heard the things that happen to, kids that start early in the business.
Like what?
But
Everyone's always normal.
she went
It always
from
works out great.
Disney sensation to she dropped a couple albums of her own music that is fantastic. She has bangers. She has this one called Hurricane. Fantastic.
So even as an artist, she's really good too.
Yeah, outside of just the Disney world.
Okay.
And then she kind of disappeared. She kind of got off the map. She released this music, kind of like took a step back. Then she got a degree from Harvard.
Whoa. Wow.
And I want to say it's like aerospace engineering.
That's it?
Then she went on to be a CEO of a space company.
Sure.
Kind of like Elon Musk, but like a different version. She's gotten
good one?
married. She adopted a foster child, a 4-year-old foster child, and now she's planning to release new music.
Sure.
She is 31 years old. She has
for
done
her.
all these things in 31 precious years.
What have you done, Brian?
My statement is, Bridget Mendler has a time machine. Travis, start the cap.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the only way you could do all of those things. I'm going to say Cap because I think it would be. I've seen Back to the Future. Something bad would happen. We'd all know about it.
Butterfly effect.
Right. So that would happen. Her name's Bridget M?
Yeah.
What I can tell you is that people like Bridget, I hate them. Because that
Wow.
is such an absurd amount of real accomplishments. Actor, musician, scientist, CEO, mother, like all of these things. Any one of them.
cooler EGOT.
I think she was summa cum laude at Harvard
Of course
as
she
well.
was.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course she was. And it's not like she got a degree in political science.
It wasn't
just
magna
picking
cum
that
laude.
at random. Just got my hand in the air. These people make all of us feel bad about ourselves. So, Bridget, tough luck.
Berg.
Fact, good for her. You're so angry at her for being better than you.
What did you do today?
I had
Not as much as her.
No, not as much as her. I've had 3 meetings. If that and I helped with
Yeah.
yeah.
She runs a space company. And she's a mom.
and a mom.
Right.
Yeah, no, she's amazing. She's like, I mean, you're not going to like this reference, but she's Hermione in Harry Potter
Yeah,
with the
Time
Time
Turner.
Turner. Yep, see? You got it.
Would have said time turner if anybody else would have gotten it.
Yeah.
Al?
They both she finished his sentence.
Yeah.
Right? They're both
She
on
knew
the
what I was
same page.
talking
I
about.
believe you guys.
Brian knew.
I believe
knew that
the
one.
reference is appropriate. I just
I'm gonna
missed
go
it.
Cap. I'll go Cap on the time machine. But yeah, people like this are so fascinating to me, and it's not. This is even so much better than an example that I'm gonna give. But you'll have an athlete that's about to get drafted, and he's like, yeah, I was a better baseball player than I was a football player, but I'm also in the league and in the NFL, and I'm a 10-year vet, and blah, blah, blah.
And I'm
you're like,
dunking basketball.
yeah, and you're like, wait, what are you talking about? But, okay, they're athletic, and they're unbelievable at the sport that they have. She's hitting different fields left and right. Like, this is the part to me that throws me off. There's obviously a big respect to that. I got you just said that. What have you done in the last whatever?
He said it to me.
Okay, so one quick story. I remember doing my 10-year high school reunion, and a buddy of mine that I knew that decided to go play volleyball at Long Beach State. He was 6'8", 6'9". I played basketball with him. Goes and plays at Long Beach State. And then I'm watching the Olympics. I forget what year it was. Probably 2008, something along those lines. I'm like, what? Is David Lee in the Olympics for the USA?
Ooh.
I see him at our 10-year reunion, and I'm like, bro, what do you just you have a gold medal in the USA for volleyball, and you're coming to the high school reunion. We all look like complete idiots. Like, he's just going out. What'd you do over the last 10 years? He didn't bring his gold medal, but I'm like, I would have brought my gold medal and
That's
said,
awesome.
what have you guys done over the last 10 years?
Brian?
I think this is fact. I don't know how somebody could do all this in that amount of time. It just seems a little impossible to me. Maybe a little fibbed. I don't know.
31 years old.
Oh, she's lying.
She invented the flux capacitor, and now she's able to go all over time and do whatever she wants.
Twin.
Right.
The story comes out. It was all fabricated.
So,
God, that'd be awful.
we talk a lot about Love is Blind today because it's one of the great shows that's out right now. Me, Brian, Greg all watch it.
Love it. Love it.
There's this guy, his name is Jeremy, and he spells his name Jeremy in a stupid way. It's
It is
Jeramy. So
It's
Jeremy.
Jeramy?
Yeah, Jeremy.
Isn't it MEY?
Either way,
Jeramy.
it's terrible. Okay, so, but he is currently, I haven't finished the whole series, but he met somebody in the pods and is figuring out life with this woman outside of the pods. But this season was taped about a year ago. Okay, so it was taped like January 2023 was when they kind of started filming. So Jeremy had been engaged to somebody until December 2022. Okay?
Okay.
So about 2 weeks or so later, he ends up on filming The Love is Blind and meeting somebody else. Okay, so he was single. It was a quick
The
turnaround.
timeline's tight.
Yeah.
Yes, and this came to light because both the woman, the ex-fiance, who has a kid, by the way, and they had a house together. Ex-fiance posted about this on Instagram, and ex-fiance's mother posted about it on Instagram.
Get the mother posted
So
on there.
Jeremy is being laid out there. So my statement is,
Jeremy.
he was single, but he may have been trying to do this before he was single. So it is ethical for Jeremy to do this. Bird, fact, or cap?
No, I mean, it's cap. You went from being you had a fiance and you left to go onto a reality show to get a fiance. A month later, you had one. Why do you need to go on and find another one that fast? That's absolutely crazy. It is not ethical. I think he's 100% wrong in this.
Al?
It's not ethical, so I go cap on this. Here's the only question that I have. Sometimes you're in a relationship and both of you know, like, hey, it's just a matter of time before this thing expires, and I don't know if that was 6 months, a year ago, and maybe they're both still together, but they know that they're done. So I got to imagine that mentally he was already at a space where it's like that relationship's done, but ethical, probably not.
Trav?
Al's right with the fact that the mom and the ex came off the top rope leads you to believe that she didn't think they were done. Maybe he had checked out of the relationship, but that's when he needs to end it, right? And say, listen, I'm not feeling this. I got to go. Of course, it's cap, I think, is what we're looking for. It is. In Jeramy's mind, it may be in his ethical code may have been met. Like, I technically didn't do anything wrong. I was single, this, that, and the other thing. But in the universe, it's unethical.
But this also sounds like
it sounds like something a man named Jeramy would do.
Exactly. Jeramy decided that in December. He's like, oh, I got put onto the show. I need to end this other relationship so I can go on to this show.
Because you can
that is no longer ethical.
You can become famous from the show because, or like Instagram famous.
I mean,
so
talking about your Instagram probably went up to a couple 100,000, maybe 1 million. Yeah.
Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, Cap, to that point, too, like the application process probably started long before, while he was with the other girl, probably. But
Look
this,
at
I
us
feel like this
talking
is kind of a
reality
fairly
TV here.
I'm a huge fan.
You should watch it. It's actually
Susan
very
pitched
compelling.
it to me last night.
It's
honestly
it's
like
very compelling.
We finished. We were watching Righteous Gemstones.
Like a
we
timeshare presentation.
season 2, and she says to me, it was on the queue, and she's like, "Hey, everybody's talking about this. I think we should watch this." I'm like, "No, not happening." But you're nudging me in the right direction. We'll see.
I'm not going to push too hard. Don't push too hard. He's not going to watch it.
I will not. I'm just going to say I don't watch any reality shows, period. But I watch this.
Her pitch is the best pitch. I think you might like this.
Yeah. And then Susan can get us across the finish line.
Yeah.
All right, I have one last one for you guys. So this is going to keep in the Love is Blind area. So my friend, she recently moved to Charlotte. And she lived here for a couple years. She moved to Charlotte to work for a company over there. And Love is Blind this season is in Charlotte. So so my friend moves there. She moves like at the beginning of January. I see on her Instagram that she already has a boyfriend as of Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh, congratulations. Must be, love at first sight or affection at first sight, whatever. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm so excited. I texted her yesterday because are you seeing Love is Blind? You live in Charlotte. I was curious if she had met any of these people. She texted me. Actually, first, I broke up with the guy, the boyfriend. And 2, I DM'd one of the guys who didn't end up with somebody. She DM'd this person, and he is
not Jeramy.
not Drammy, and he
Okay.
is communicating with her. Let's just say.
Okay.
So my
Wow.
friend
Indeed.
is someone who has this like magnetism about her.
Riz?
She's beautiful. It's not even Riz. It's kind of Riz, but it's like everybody's in love with her, and it's regardless, like friendship, love, romance, love, everything. She just attracts people to her in a great way. And I feel like that's kind of a superpower. You know, like you walk into a room and everyone's attracted to you. So if you could have any of these like superpowers, but it's not like flying or invisibility, but like the ability to talk really well, charisma, everything you touch turns to gold, etc. If you could have a superpower like that, you would want everyone to be attracted to you. Alan, Factor Cap.
Cap. That one doesn't pull me in as much as, like we were talking about the gal that you mentioned that was doing what she's doing by the time she's 31.
Mm-hmm.
It's this able to accomplish so many, juggle so many different things at once, be able to, by the time you're 40 years old, you've done that. To me is much more. I'd rather have that, and people, maybe there's more respect
Like
towards
everything
that.
you touch turns to gold kind of thing?
Yeah, if to have everyone just like me or something like that, that part I'm not as...
Be successful in all of your spy missions. That's just
exactly, in the spy missions, yeah.
Trev?
There is a superpower that you're describing, because I have a buddy, what up, Mike, that is the male equivalent of your few. Every room he walks in, it's like, it's just, guys, can you just leave me alone? Like, women, it's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like
Guys,
it. And
can
it
you
happens
just leave me alone?
I'm here with my friends tonight, girls. Seriously, I'm not interested. Oh, come on. Like, literally, please go away. It's unreal. So it's a real superpower. I would want the one, and we all got this guy in our group, I think, too, that everything they try works.
Yeah.
You know, I invested in this business. It seemed like bang, it sells. And, you know, me and a couple of guys, we went in on this apartment, and it's like, the next thing you know, they got 6 of them. It's like everything that they just dip their toe into becomes, you know, they strike oil on all of it. That's the one that I would like to have.
Berg?
So I'd like to have the one that I would love that one with the magnetism and all that, but I'd like the one where your brain just works in a certain way. You can look at anything, like look at something, a word, and create something crazy out of it.
Like Zach Galifianakis?
Yeah, and it's
In,
hysterical.
Nathan
Like they just
Fielder.
have just a different way of looking at things. I wish I had that superpower, because then you're funnier, you are more interesting. There's a lot of things that come across with that, so that's the one I would want.
Brian?
Yeah, I'd say Cap. I think the word I'm looking for is maybe like linguistics or something, like the language where you could understand.
Linguistics.
Yeah. So I'd like being able to understand anybody in the world or talk to anybody in the
There are
world.
some people
I
that
think
can
would be
pick up
cool.
languages like that.
Yeah.
Like just
Oh, yeah.
in a
Or they
couple of
speak
weeks.
6 languages and this...
Yeah, the same people that can look at a piano, like hear a song and go, oh, okay, let me play that real fast.
Yes,
Right.
that's
Out of
another
nowhere.
good one.
Yeah.
Just like Otani right here.
Buenos dias.
Yeah.
We had a dad on one of my son's Little League teams.
Okay.
Fred. What up, Fred? Fred Battaglia, who grew up in Switzerland. He's
Sup,
Swiss.
Fred?
And he was at, we were at a Little League game, and somebody went by, and I heard him speaking German. I'm like, oh, because I knew he speaks French. I knew he speaks German and in English. He communicated with me in English. I'm like, how many languages do you actually speak? He goes, well, only 5, but I can kind of get by in 3 others, too. He speaks 8.
Oh my
I'm like, that doesn't even compute. 8?
Crazy.
Like, I know how to say good morning in like 3 different languages, and I feel like I'm basically an interpreter at the UN. He actually speaks
Bonjour.
8. Bonjour, there you go.
Say goodbye in a bunch, but that's...
Adios.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Sayonara. There you go. There's goodbye. There's 3.
And they don't even have to think when they're doing it.
No.
It's like, no, I got it.
Auf Wiedersehen.
We're all losers. The takeaway from this Factor Cap is we've all got no charisma, no intellect, and we're all losers.
No logistics or linguistics.
Right. Logistics is UPS, Brian.
Right.
Linguistics is languages.
I know it didn't sound right, but I was like, it's close to this, you know?
You knew we would get it.
Right.
He wants to learn how to spell, too.
Close enough. You were able to communicate your idea. That's what it's all about. What are the Bears waiting for? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The Black and Gold have been to the MLS Cup Final the last 2 years in a row. Can they make it a third? The road starts this Saturday.
Vivo Stadium is rocking for the black and gold.
LAFC are reloaded and ready for Season 7, led by former World Cup champion keeper Hugo Lloris and last year's Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga.
Denny!
It's the season opener at BMO. LAFC versus Seattle. Pre-game starts Saturday at 1 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
Por la cultura.
Here comes another night.
This is Miss Bridget Mendler right here.
Looking over the trees and the roofs, and I don't know what I
Come on, Bridget. It's a good song.
And it builds. She has so many like different like types of music too. She's got poppy stuff. This is more of her like R&B, her like more recent music. And she's a scientist and a CEO of a space company and a mother and all these great things and a beautiful artist.
It's a good song. It's not a bad song at all. I have no problem with this song.
I don't like this person.
Because she's so
me
talented.
Feel like a loser. you look. If you're really lucky, you get really good at one thing. If you're really lucky, you get really good at one thing, and almost never do you get two things. And even the people that get two things, they're usually like the example Al was giving earlier.
Okay.
Like, hey, I'm in the NBA, but believe it or not, I was a better basketball or football player than I'm with. That's both athletics. That's both the ability to move your body in a way that normal people can't. To be successful in the arts and then be a astrophysicist,
Get outta here.
like those are the most opposite things in the world. To be a science-brained CEO of a space company, and oh, by the way, I have this beautiful, soulful singing voice. Get that out of here.
That's why they created the term Renaissance man, Renaissance woman. Yeah.
Crazy.
She's basically Bridget Bardot with this song.
By the way, I sometimes when you talk about like your Disney sound, Kelly was our Disney Channel child.
Yeah.
She watched a ton of that stuff. And other than iCarly, that was her favorite. Like I know iCarly pretty well. But some of the other stuff was just kind of background noise. I actually knew the right person when you talked about Good Luck Charlie.
Yeah, Good Luck Charlie was just barely over the edge of my Disney Channel watching.
What was the one where the two twins lived in the hotel?
Sweet Life of
Sweet
Zach
Life of
and
Cody.
Cody.
That's a
Love
good
that.
one.
That was a good one. Yeah.
We didn't
And then
watch any of that stuff growing up.
No?
Nothing really.
Did you have cable growing up?
Yeah, we did. Basic cable, but we didn't watch. For me, it was I'm watching Winnie the Pooh. I'm watching Tom and Jerry. It's like more of the cartoons that I was stuck to. It was less of the.
As when I was a kid, it was the Tom and Jerry and all that kind of stuff, Bugs Bunny and all that. But with my
Was
kids,
Steamboat Mickey?
it wasn't Steamboat Willie. First
Oh,
of
Steamboat
all.
Willie. Sorry, yeah. You would know.
I was waiting for that. Yes, Steamboat Willie, who I believe now is part of public domain.
Yeah, don't worry. John Oliver has a picture with him all over town.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Caleb Williams is very likely to be the first pick in the draft, and the current Bears quarterback Justin Fields. Yes. I still want to call him Josh. Justin Fields.
You got me confused on it because I was about to tell you, no, it's Josh.
Do you know who Josh Fields is? He's a journeyman outfielder that's played for like 6 teams in the major leagues. I cannot get it. Anyway, Justin Fields, who has moments in the NFL where he looks pretty good, and then there are other moments where, like this isn't going to work. The Bears have kind of been non-committal in what they're going to do with him, and he defollowed them on Instagram and all this other stuff. So it feels like they're getting towards Caleb Williams. Here's what I don't understand now. See if you can help me with this.
Okay.
If you are an executive, a head coach, a general manager, getting ready to select a player, specifically a quarterback, and you're looking at Caleb Williams, what don't you like? Because this is weird to me that they haven't just basically decided, look, we're going to take Caleb Williams. We're going to move on from Fields. We're going to go in a different direction because Caleb Williams is the right size. He's mobile. He's very accurate. He appears to really love playing
NFL.
football. There's no like. 'Cause sometimes you're like, yeah, he's kind of a weird, like Josh Rosen, right, coming out of UCLA, first round pick. I think he was 10th overall. But it was, hey, listen, not a great guy. You know, he's hard to get along with. Coaches don't like him. There was some buzzy stuff about them. There's none of the buzzy bad stuff about Williams. We've seen with our own eyeballs how good of an athlete he is. Where's the red flag? Why is this not a no-brainer?
I don't know if red flag or no-brainer, because I think if you ask me right now, what are they going to do with their number 1 pick? I think they're going to draft him. Is there a strategy of, hey, if we just let us do some work in the background, let us try to see the most that we can get for Justin Fields, and if there's an opportunity or a situation for them, they're in an incredible spot. Because I think people don't think Justin Fields is a bum. So it's not like
no, but he's also not a guy that you're 100% sure is a difference maker.
correct. But I think there are enough teams out there that would say, let's take a chance on him. Okay, well, what is that worth? Now, how public do they have to be? I'm not sure. I maybe if there's not a scenario out there that they liked what was coming back in return, but I don't think that's going to determine whether they're drafting Caleb Williams or not.
I don't
Would it make sense? It wouldn't make sense of why that would have a
But
impact
when it's
on it.
Peyton Manning, when it's Andrew Luck, when it was Cam Newton, when it was Joe Burrow, when it was all of these other guys that have gone number 1 overall, there was never any, it's just, no, this is, and you've heard with Caleb Williams, he's a generational talent. I expect them to do it too. What I don't understand is why there's this gamesmanship of it all, because they're going to do it. You right? You know what I mean? You're not, so are they,
I don't know if I have an answer to that.
I keep coming back to the, what is it about him that they're not just in love with? Because I can't come up with it. Maybe, well, I've never seen him in a big game. Well, is that really his fault? It's not his fault that the team gave up 100 points a game. He didn't have anything to do with that. He doesn't seem to shy away from the moment. He seemed to be very competitive.
We saw him in a lot of games with SC where he had to be great for them to win with all the holes that they had. So, and that's taken on a lot of ranked teams in the Pac-12.
It is our snake draft, and it is a very specific theme coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The black and gold have been to the MLS Cup Final the last 2 years in a row. Can they make it a third? The road starts this Saturday.
BMO Stadium is rocking for the black and gold.
LAFC are reloaded and ready for Season 7, led by former World Cup champion keeper Hugo Lloris and last year's Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga.
Denny!
It's the season opener at BMO. LAFC versus Seattle. Pre-game starts Saturday at 1 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
Por la cultura.
All right, so our friend, our coworker, Jorge, is expecting a baby any second. A new baby any second. Congrats
Exciting.
to the family and everything. But I thought in honor of that, we would draft famous pop culture babies, okay? So I will count, someone named baby something, or if baby is in the title of the song, okay? So I'll take any pop culture that includes baby. I will be as broad with this one as possible to help you guys out a little bit. You guys ready?
Ready.
All right, the order is Brian, Travis,
top pick.
Emily,
Nice.
Allen. We're going to take 3 each, 12 total, because all I can fit in the graphic, right, Bram? Great, awesome. All right, Brian, you're up first.
I think you might take mine.
First one, this one's going back to my childhood. I'm going with Tommy Pickles from the Rugrats.
Oh, okay.
The whole baby show. Yeah, all-time babies right there.
Yep.
Okay. I'm glad I get my first pick. This is good.
Tommy Pickles is fantastic. That show, though, scarred me because I never wanted to eat a watermelon ever. Here's why. In an episode of Rugrats, they eat a watermelon. The watermelon grows in their stomach, and they have to go inside like Magic School Bus style to get the watermelon out of the baby.
Seed?
Yeah, it scarred me for life. Rugrats is a creepy show, but Tommy Pickles is the man. All right, Travis, you're up.
Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back.
What? No!
I like that.
I was going to take that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Double X throwdown, Em.
Baby Got Back. Coming from Travis.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming.
I'm pretty pleased that that was
God.
available for me.
Look at her butt. What's funny is, also you can clip that, add me to my hip hop me to say thing. Sir Mix-a-Lot was an answer for a trivia question, and I was like, yeah.
Oh,
sir.
was he really?
I was right away. I got it.
It's
All right.
it's an all-timer. It's an all-timer, so I'm pleased.
All right, so Baby Got Back is off the board. I am going to follow in a similar vein of what Travis picked. Why it's playing underneath the segment right now. When I think baby, I think this song, and it's Justin Bieber's Baby.
Yeah.
Baby, baby,
Oh, yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, baby, 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 no. I was not necessarily a believer. But my sisters were, and it was in our car at all times, and this song slaps. It's super catchy. So Baby by Justin Bieber is my first choice.
Good
Al?
pick.
Okay, so this one, if we had our top 500, no one would take it, but I'm going to go ahead and just take it with my number one because it's most recent. Back in the days, and they just brought it back at the Super Bowl, E-Trade used to have those commercials with the babies.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good choice.
And it's funny because Michelle had mentioned to me, she's like, do you know they're coming back? You know, like she was like, there was some buzz that
He was excited.
She was excited. She's like, I can't wait for the E-Trade commercial because of the babies. So let's do that as my number one pick.
Okay.
Number two, I think it's just a very underrated candy bar. Baby Ruth.
Great choice.
It's one of my favorite candy bars.
Yeah.
And I don't think gets the respect that it deserves, so I'll go Baby Ruth with my number two.
Awesome. It also is a plot point in The Office.
And Caddyshack.
Also great. I was not necessarily a Baby Ruth fan, but that's a solid candy
okay.
bar. All right, so my second pick. I've got a couple choices here.
Don't do it.
I could choose Travis's generation, Boomer. I'm not going to choose that, though. I'm going to choose a iconic thing for the Nationals.
Okay.
An iconic thing for anybody who has children nowadays. An iconic, even if you've never heard this song, you know this song, you know exactly who this person is. I'm going to go with Baby Shark. Baby Shark is my second pick.
That's good.
And when the Nationals won their World Series in 2019, they used to do the Baby Shark whenever they got in base.
So good.
So Baby
So
Shark
good.
has both a connection for me, and it'll annoy every parent listening to this song.
That's
Wasn't
great.
it like the most viewed on
I wouldn't be
YouTube or something like
surprised.
that? Like it broke record after record.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's a good one, Em.
Travis?
Okay, I have to be strategic here because there's two that I really want.
Okay.
There's one that I think is more likely to get picked than the other, so I'm going to take it right now, but I want the other one slightly more. So this is a little game theory here. I'm going to take Maggie Simpson right now.
Okay.
Because I think that was the more likely that may come off the board because she's
of
been
Brian.
she's been on. I thought that might be where you go number one, Brian. I really did.
That was going to be my next pick.
Was it really?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then I got it right because she's been a baby on TV for 34 seasons. So Maggie Simpson is my second pick.
All right, solid baby, solid baby. All right, Brian, you got two.
Two here. Okay, first one I'm going to go a little video game-esque. I'm going to go Baby Mario.
Oh, I don't know.
The Mario racing games and such.
Oh, okay, like Mario Kart?
Yeah, Mario Kart. Yeah,
Okay.
so they have a Baby Mario character.
Nice.
So add a little more speed. And then for
Okay.
the
Good.
last pick here, this one's tough. But I was going to go Simpson, but I think I'm going to go from Family Guy.
Stewie? Oh,
Yeah, give me
Stewie's a great
Stewie
choice.
from Family
Yeah,
Guy.
good
Stewie's a
choice.
great choice.
Yeah, lots of cartoons for you.
Yep.
Clean cartoon character.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
Trav, your last
well,
pick.
Stewie is on the borderline.
Right.
Yeah, Stewie's got a little profane. I'm thrilled that I got this, and I don't know how to. You wanted to put this on the graphic, Em? Like I could pick the actress, but I'm just going to say the line, and I think you will know it.
Yeah.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Yes. Baby from Dirty Dancing.
Baby from Dirty Dancing. Yes, her real name is Erin something or other. What's her last real her real name?
I can't remember, but she is a nepo baby.
Yeah, I choose nobody puts baby in the corner.
That character is so annoying.
Of course it is, but it's
baby
that
is so
Patrick
annoying.
Swayze. She's like, nobody puts baby in the corner.
Honestly,
awesome.
The better pick I feel like is that phrase. No one puts baby in the corner. But
Then that's what I want. Then
I'll give you the phrase.
Thank you.
Nobody puts baby in a corner
Yes.
as your pick.
Okay.
All right. So I have so far like a cartoon character. I have a song. I think I'm gonna go with an iconic image and something that also has come up legally recently in the past year because the person who is this baby has wanted to sue this band for putting them on the cover of this. So I'm gonna put the baby on the Nirvana album. That's in the pool and has all the money floating around it. So the Nirvana baby is my pick.
Great choice.
All right, Alan, you get last pick.
I think I'm just going to go little old school on this one, and is one of my favorite shows growing up. Full House. Remember Michelle Tanner?
Sure.
So for as long as I was watching that show, I swear I felt like her baby role
The Olsen
never
twins.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm blanking on their names. It's bothering me.
Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Mary-Kate and Ashley. Thank you.
I was obsessed with them.
Okay, and here's the thing. Like, I know their role in Full House was not that big, but like they were such cuties. I'll go with the Full House characters of the Olsen twins.
So, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen have a long series of direct-to-VHS movies where they are both. They could be spies. They could be detectives. They can go on their own thing. They have this. I feel like this is a movie that only my sisters and I have ever watched because we quote it to each other all the time. We watched it a ton, and I don't know anybody else who knows this movie. So if you know this movie, let me know and make me feel less alone. To Grandmother's House We Go, starring Rhea Perlman as kind of like
Carla from Cheers?
Yeah, she's an evil person that takes the twins. So the twins are trying to get to Grandma's house, and they think, oh, we're just going to run away. We're going to walk to Grandma's house. And so they try walking to Grandma's house, and then evil Rhea Perlman comes and picks them up. It's great.
I screwed up my last pick.
What?
I figured, and I don't know why it just
asked
came.
the commissioner for a special dispensation.
I don't know why it just came in. Chili's. How do we not want our baby back ribs?
That's really
That was pretty
Can I
good.
go baby back ribs as my
Yes,
last
let
pick?
him do baby back ribs.
I'm being very generous today because there's a new baby coming into the world, all these things, and the music hasn't
Baby
stopped
back
playing.
ribs, man.
I will allow you to
Baby
change your
back,
answer.
Baby back, baby
By
back.
the way,
Baby
there's
back
another
ribs.
office episode that they had there. All right, I'll go Chili's. Baby back ribs is my last one.
For the first time, my 3 picks, were not met with utter contempt from you. Did I have a good draft for the first time ever?
So the first one, I thought I was gonna pick that one if it got to me. So
Yeah.
I was a good pick. I don't know Maggie Simpson, so
You don't know it?
I have never crossed paths for The Simpsons, so I have
How
no
is that
idea who
possible?
Maggie
It's
Simpson
been on
is.
the TV for 30 years. I understand you don't like it or watch it, but
I'm not
I
a big
saw-
Simpson. I know Maggie Simpson, but
Yeah.
I'm not a big.
I've never
Simpsons.
seen Maggie Simpson in my life. I've seen Marge, and I've seen
You would know her.
I'm
boy.
shocked. I'm literally surprised because
Bart.
you consume pop culture. I understand that it's not in your lane, but I don't believe you. Go
And
ahead.
then Baby from Dirty Dancing, I would have taken that too, that phrase if it had gotten to me. So you took some that I would have taken if I had gotten the chance.
So she had to dump on it anyway.
I like
it's
these.
impossible. It's
Don't
been on
believe
TV. Like I never saw an episode of Leave It to Beaver, but I know who the Beav was. Like I saw him. I could pick him out of a lineup, even though I was alive and well in the 50s.
If you
right,
showed
Em?
me a picture of Maggie Simpson, I would not have gotten to her name.
Oh no, I believe that you would not have pulled the name. But
I also,
you,
if I saw a picture, I'd say, oh, that's probably from The Simpsons. I couldn't have told you that it was a running character, like whatever. I have
Very
no knowledge
disappointing.
of The Simpsons.
Very disappointing. Where's Andy? Let's get Andy on the phone. Andy would have agreed with me.
But if we missed any, and if you have any opinions about the ones we picked, 877-710-3776, or tweet at us at Emily Hebel, at Travis Rogers, at Alan Sliwa, at Brian Cohen. What's your Twitter?
Brian Cohen 710.
Brian Cohen 710. Also, just a very quick reminder of why we are drafting babies today. Jorge and his lovely wife Brenda and big sister Maita are on the 1 yard line of having a baby brother. So we're all anxiously awaiting for that to happen. Brian's going to be with us for a few days, and then Cody after that. But Jorge, we're thinking of you, brother. Good luck. Good luck
sir.
to Brenda, and welcome to number 2. it's an exciting time. I like that draft. That was fun. And by the way, Sleep, baby back ribs is strong.
Can't believe that didn't come early.
That's great.
Yeah, that one we would have thought came
Baby
off the
Ruth
board
too.
a
Like
lot
you
of-
got 2 food items. I'm very pleased.
You might win this draft, Al.
It's very good. Do we actually ever keep track of who wins? I've never once looked.
You should have a poll, and we'll vote, but I just don't trust their opinions because,
Because if it's not your opinion, who cares?
Correct.
All right, Dodgers are on the field. Mookie Betts is up to bat, Al. That's he walks. Season's over. Dodgers win it all.
Oh, jeez.
See, first guy of the season gets on base. It's always a good no. Mookie's on there. They're playing the Pods. That's Musgrove.
Yeah. Already walking guys, Mus?
Look, you are who you are at some point. He's going to walk some guys. LeBron not playing tonight. Didn't play before the All-Star break, but I'm glad he got 13 minutes in the All-Star game. That's good news. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. And Slee, while you were on vacation, I got some Prize Picks futures on the board for the upcoming baseball season.
Okay.
I got Shohei Ohtani over more than 38.5 home runs. I've got Aaron Judge more than 44.5 home runs, and I've got Juan Soto more than 35.5 home runs. This is what you do at Prize Picks. You pick between 2 and 6 players, and you can win up to 10 times your money.
All right, also, NBA back starts tonight. So I got a couple already going for the Lakers-Warriors game. Anthony Davis, more than or less than 28.5 points. I got more than. Klay Thompson, more than or less than 15.5 points. I'll go more than on that one as well. Over 7 million sports fans have already signed up. Trav and I obviously are doing it as well. You can watch your favorite players and get paid doing it. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Here's the fun thing. You can watch games, whether it's your team or other teams, and just kind of add some juice to it. Just download the Prize Picks app. Use that code 710. That's code 710 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
The black and gold have been to the MLS Cup Final the last 2 years in a row. Can they make it a third? The road starts this Saturday.
BMO Stadium is rocking for the black and gold.
LAFC are reloaded and ready for Season 7, led by former World Cup champion keeper Hugo Lloris and last year's Golden Boot winner Denis Bouanga.
Denny!
It's the season opener at BMO. LAFC versus Seattle. Pre-game starts Saturday at 1 p.m. on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
So we got a couple of omissions, or at least what people are considering omissions. I thought, I mentioned this to Emily this morning, that I thought you specifically might go with the baby Jesus from Talladega Nights.
Genius.
I thought you might go there.
That is genius.
Yeah.
Sweet baby Jesus, lying in the manger.
I wish I thought about that. I wish I thought about
What
that.
else did we miss, Em?
So ones that I had on my list that I picked other things over top of it, but Rosemary's Baby,
Yeah.
Baby Yoda, Baby Groot.
Lindbergh Baby.
Sorry?
Lindbergh Baby.
Yeah, Lindbergh Baby.
Most famous kidnapping victim of all time.
Hasta La Vista Baby.
Hasta La Vista Baby is
That's a good
great
one.
one.
That's a really good one.
Hit Me, and then I think the number one overall one that everyone's telling us, yelling at us that we didn't pick was Hit Me Baby One More Time
You mean
by Britney
Steve
Spears.
Mason?
Yeah, Steve Mason. And then Ally McBeal. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that Ally McBeal is very of its time. Like,
No,
I
the Hit Me
barely
Baby One
remember
More
it.
Time. That one's fair.
It's good video.
Yeah.
It's still like you hear that dum 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 dum.
Was that her first?
imme-
Was that her first
so,
big
and she
time
was a
hit?
baby.
She was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was like what, 16 or 17?
Yeah.
I think it was. I think that's her first real hit.
Also, shouts out to Christy, who also recognized that movie that I was talking about. So me and Christy are in it together.
To grandmother's house we go.
Yes.
Is Carla's the bad guy?
She is the bad guy.
I don't know. Carla was the bad guy in Cheers, I guess, to a point. That she'd be a good bad guy. She's got bad guy tendencies. She's got bad guy chops.
Just so I know, this game will not go towards Musgrove's ERA, right?
I don't think so. The Dodgers have gotten their first 3 guys on base with a walk, a blue pit, and a hit by pitch.
Yeah, and then he just hits Outman when he had him 0-2.
And now
He got all the way
Teoscar
up to a full
Hernandez
count.
making his first at-bat as a Dodger in a
Baseball's
quasi-real game. See, here's the thing. I love seeing it. I love seeing Dodger blue. I like seeing people out in the sunshine playing baseball.
Yeah.
Nothing that happens today short of an injury matters.
Sure.
That's it. And Em brought up the point this morning. It was a year ago today. I don't know if exactly the day, but
Lux,
the beginning of spring training last year where Gavin Lux tore up his knee. And it's like, okay, well, now what? You get Miguel Rojas. Mookie all of a sudden becomes an infielder. Fast forward a year, Mookie is a full-time infielder now. He's your everyday second baseman. And this stuff moves pretty fast.
Well, it's also interesting, too, because, before the season even started yet last year, there's an injury, a major injury for the Dodgers. And, you look at the theme of the Dodgers by the time you got to the end.
You might want to not look at this.
No way.
That's a grand slam.
Are you serious? You're ahead of me. I changed the channel because one was delayed.
Here it comes. There it goes.
No way.
I wish it doesn't matter. But anyway, yeah, the injury you were talking
And
about.
I think Tatis is mic'd up.
Well,
what does he say?
Watch it
after
fly
that?
over the fence.
Nice job, Cronenworth.
So they're going to hear. This is the post-game interview with Musgrove after the game. So what happened out there? Well, right at this time, the results really don't matter. I just want to come out of it healthy. I just want to feel good. I want to break a sweat for the first time. Obviously, I'm not as sharp as I'd like to be. By the time we get to the games that matter, we'll have this stuff ironed out.
Was that a grand slam or did it? Did it
bounce? Maybe it bounced over.
I think it was a
ground rule double.
I feel a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only 2 runs. By the way, he's done for the day.
Wait, am I right?
Yeah.
It
bounced over.
Okay.
It's 2-0, nobody out. He faced 4 guys, gave up 2 runs, got nobody out.
I've never been to spring training.
Okay. Brian, have you ever been to spring training? I know you're a baseball
been
fan.
like 8 times, I'd say.
So you obviously like it very much.
Yeah, I love it.
Sell Sliwa on why you like it.
Oh, just the chance to interact with the players. I mean, I don't know. It kind of changed since COVID, but before COVID, there was a little piece of string that was separating you and, Ohtani, per se.
Yep.
And just seeing them interact with each other, too, without all the cameras. There's not a lot of, media there, so it's pretty cool.
So how big are these stadiums? They're holding
8,000 tops, maybe 5.
pretty small.
Yeah.
Huh. That'd be fun. Yeah, and Mark Cates, who's over on our side, one of the market, every year he has gone for
He's a spring
I don't know how
training
many
guy.
years. Big spring training guy, always take his son, everything else. And he'd always tell me, he's like, Al, you're literally sitting out here. Weather's still nice in Arizona, so it's not like it's, 110 yet or anything like that. You're kicking back, like you just said, how close it is to watching. It's probably the closest that you're going to get. That's interesting.
Okay, I've been this close to where you are, Trav, of like a Kenley Jensen and Kershaw pitching their bullpens, and you're standing right here. And it's crazy. You can hear them talking and everything.
If you want to get close to the players, spring training is awesome. If you want to sit out in the sun and have a cold beer or 4, it's awesome. If you're
going
going
for baseball,
it is terribly underwhelming. And I don't know if it's just that I gave it The Office. I've watched so much baseball that just kind of watching exhibit. To me, spring training is just like the NBA preseason. It's just like the NFL where we got to see Mookie taking at bat, but it's like it doesn't count. Like the result has to matter.
So if I booed Musgrove after his performance while he's walking out.
Austin Barnes getting ready to take his first step out of the spring.
difference I feel like between this and preseason for the NFL is the guys are actually playing. So like NFL, Matthew Stafford's never going to be out there. Aaron Donald's not going to be out there.
No, but Patrick Mahomes is.
Yeah.
That's a Rams thing that you're talking about more than
used
a
to be
pro
where they
football
always
thing.
used to play.
Yeah, it's just
I feel like
different.
it's just good for like warming up your eyes to baseball's back.
It's if you want to sit out in the sun and chop it up with your buddy and have a couple of beers, and to Brian's point, the other cool thing, these guys hang out. They'll kind of have a conversation with you. If you're not a pain in the neck, they'll hang around and they'll kind of talk baseball with you. That part's really cool. But all of a sudden you see this guy that's going to be driving a beer truck in 6 weeks pitching. It's like I don't need to see that. I'm good.
Yeah. What's the latest on current six packs? What are they running for? You ask him a question.
How about if I buy in bulk? How much to get a kegerator installed in my house? We can ask these sorts of questions. Let's go to Inglewood and Kenny. Kenny, you're on Travis Slee. What's up?
Yes, Travis. Just wanted to share for all my Raiders fans. You guys missed "Just Win, Baby."
Oh, great one.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
Great one.
And then also the former governor of California, "Just Win, Baby." I'm sorry, no, hasta la vista, baby.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get to the chopper, baby.
I think you're crossing the streams out. Thank you, Kenny. Yeah, just win, baby. But see, here's the thing. You're a Charger fan, Brian.
Right.
Emily's a Steelers fan. I'm a Rams fan, and Slee just hates who's ever playing the Chargers.
Yep. No, loves whoever's playing the Chargers.
Yeah, I said that wrong. You're right. Yeah. You hate the Chargers. So if we had a Raider person, if Ireland were in here, he would have picked Just Win, Baby. If Bergman were in here, he would have picked Just Win, Baby.
Also, babies we left off, Jack from The Incredibles, the little kiddo that has all those powers. That's a good one. And also The Hangover baby, the one that's strapped to Zach Galifianakis.
With the sunglasses on.
Man.
That's another good one.
Yeah, that's a man.
And Boss Baby. You didn't do Boss Baby.
Is that the Alec Baldwin movie?
Yes, where he's a little baby, but he's also a boss. That's the whole thing.
That's the hook?
Yeah.
That's the hook. I hope LeBron gets enough rest tonight to play tomorrow because he's still apparently recovering from the All-Star game.
Do you think a lot of...
It bothers me. I know it's nothing.
No.
I know it's back-to-backs.
No,
I know it bothers me.
I think it's fair because he didn't play in the last game before the All-Star break. He's not playing in the first game after the All-Star break. The Lakers are in this number 9 position in the standings, which is not comfortable for anybody.
No.
Every game obviously
They're playing
means so
the team
much.
in
They're
number
going
10
up against the Warriors, so there's a game that could swing either way, and Braun doesn't play. I get it. I didn't think of – I was actually thrown off a little when I saw it yesterday. I did not think – my initial reaction was, is there something wrong? Because why would you play in the All-Star game and not play in this game? I thought maybe there's something wrong. I think I'm going to find out a little bit more tomorrow based upon if he plays against the Spurs in the second of a back-to-back.
I expect him to. I don't think there's something wrong. I think this is simply just the schedule and how it breaks down that right before the break, there was a back-to-back, and immediately after the break, there's a back-to-back. I think it's just that, and fine. If I get it. He's earned the right to take his time off, but can we, if time off is that valuable, and the All-Star game is so pathetic and meaningless, why are we even out there? Well, it's not that he's not playing; it's that he did play in that. Had he just said, "I don't do back-to-backs, and I'm going to take the week off. I'll do the interviews.
No,
I'll stand here."
Every Laker fan would have said, "All right, that's good. That makes sense."
Every person,
Yeah.
But that he decided to run up and down for 10 minutes just feels so unnecessary.
Can I tell you something that I know is kind of random because it's not a conversation that we have very often. But when he doesn't play in these games, there's a level of curiosity for me that interest level goes up a little bit.
It's more fun.
Because now I got to watch. D'Lo, you got to have a good game. Reeves, they need you to have. Rui's
the biggest one that swings.
Rui's always a big. Rui's a big one because LeBron. He's playing for LeBron.
Right.
He had 36, 37, whatever he had against the Jazz. You didn't really feel that impact, but obviously
we talked about this a little bit earlier. Like whatever the Lakers are going to accomplish in the middle of April and beyond, it will be predicated in large part based on how LeBron James plays.
Yeah.
If he gets on one, they got a chance to beat people. If he's not, they probably don't. It's as simple as that. They need him to win 7-game series. But watching the night in and night out, the ebb and flow of the NBA, when he's not there, the games are more fun to watch. They're not better necessarily, but the games are more
stylistically.
Yeah, they're just stuff
guys
moves,
don't have
stuff happens.
They don't have a choice to just hand LeBron the ball and say, "Save us," or Bron just dribbling the ball. It's
just a better, more enjoyable watch. They're not a better team, but it's a better watch. And tonight could be crazy because both of these teams really need it. That 10 is virtually you're out of the playoffs. I know you have a heartbeat, but 2 road wins in a row. Good luck with that.
No,
against teams that are probably pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this game is a full swing. This game is You've only played the Warriors once this year. You have 3 left against them. The difference between 9 and 10.
Sleep.
Yeah, I kept looking, and I'm saying to myself, we foul here, or is that down the line?
It's fair. Hit the chalk.
What's up, Pods?
They did get an out. It is 4-0, but they have recorded an out. Rabbit Hole. I'm excited to share this one for you. Coming up next, it's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The Black
Earthly way of knowing
He's singing.
which direction we are going.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
All right, it's time for Rabbit Hole, where we kind of talk about whatever random internet story we kind of find ourselves getting dived into this week. So, Al, why don't you start us off?
All right, let's first off, it's 8-0 with 1 out. I know it's spring training, but
they're on their third pitcher.
8-0 with 1 out. I think the Dodgers will be fine this year. Okay, this is kind of one of the more recent ones that I caught. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched this. There are these videos on YouTube of ships caught in these like massive storms. So the camera is from the ship, and on YouTube they'll put it'd be like 15 minutes of just more and more. So they're caught in these huge storms. One of the ships, when I tell you, like the front of the ship in the middle of this storm snapped. It's insane. Now, luckily for a lot of these, it's not like they're showing stuff. For the most part, everybody's fine, everything else. But it's just literally ships caught in these huge storms. Something you just see the wave approaching, and the wave's just going higher. And then, like, as the ships goes up with the wave, the amount of not just the distance that it goes down, but the speed that it goes down. It's like there's the next wave.
It's like a roller coaster.
And this is what these people are doing. It could be ships that are out there. They're just for transit, where they're shipping supplies and everything else. It could be some of the ships that are out there for the oil refineries, everything else. I couldn't stop watching it. Like, Michelle was trying to talk to me. I'm like, yeah, we can't talk right now.
That sounds so
it's crazy.
terrifying.
It's insane.
Like your description of it is anxiety-inducing. Like, that sounds so unpleasant to look at that I would just be so worried that you're going to watch. No, I don't want to see. Yeah, that looks awful.
A side of TikTok called the North Sea TikTok, and it goes, yo ho, thieves and beggars, and then it has that those videos over top of it, and it's crazy.
Insane.
All right, Chad, what's your rabbit hole?
I'll send you the link.
So I was listening to, it actually happened this morning. I was listening to a podcast on my way in called Stuff You Should Know About. And it's just, they'll just kind of tell you a story that you should probably know about. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I'd never heard this story before. It's about this guy named David Hahn, who in the 1990s was a high school student and became fascinated with chemistry and attempted to build a nuclear reactor in his garage shed.
Casual.
And succeeded.
What?
Yes. And so he's called the Atomic Boy Scout, and he got an Eagle Scout badge in atomic energy. Like, that's how he wanted to do it. And he's since checked out. He was a brilliant chemist and scientist, but was like almost to the point of distraction, preoccupied with trying to create a nuclear reaction in his mother's shed.
What's
and
happening here?
He did. Like, he would create these teeny tiny radioactive particles from things like smoke detectors, from gun sights, from all of these things that lithium batteries. And he was able to refine a very small amount of nuclear material, and he created a nuclear reaction. And there's a book about this guy. There's magazine, and now I know a lot about David. I didn't know David Hahn existed at 5 o'clock this morning, and now I feel like I knew the guy. It's an unreal story about this guy that created a nuclear reactor. It had to become a Superfund cleanup site happened in Michigan. They had the FBI, the EPA, the Department of Energy, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. All these people had to come in and clean up this thing that this guy had created.
What?
And you know how they got him? He was stealing tires, and they stopped him, the police, and they started going through his car, and he's like, "Don't open that box."
Oh my
and they're
God.
like, "What's going on?" They're like, "There's radioactive material in that box." And they called, and they started that whole chain. It's unreal.
I love how always the person that gets caught with whatever it is had nothing to do with, like, it's something else that
like
got them.
Capone for tax evasion.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Oh,
that's what I did this morning.
How many people are in California?
About 25, 30 million.
Right. So there's maybe someone in California that is doing this in their garage. That is a scary thought to think about, because wrong hands, any hands.
Yeah, I want
bad.
the garage story as somebody that created like a multi-billion-dollar corporation out of a garage.
He
I want that.
executed a nuclear reaction in his garage.
He would have loved Oppenheimer. Brian?
I say the last thing I went really into was the hitting coaches but hitting coach scams more or less. And
Oh, you mean all of them?
Oh yeah, pretty much. Because I saw this just from somebody commenting on Twitter, like, "Oh, this is a scam. What are you doing? Like, don't take your kids here."
Yeah.
I went to the guy's page. I spent probably 40 minutes just watching this guy's videos, and I came to the conclusion that it was probably a scam too.
Really?
I was like, I've played baseball my whole life. I've never seen any of this. And then you look at like some of the comments. Evan Longoria commented on it.
Okay.
Don't let your kids go to this kind of a thing. So it's
wow.
like, oh, even these major league players are getting into these hitting coaches for like 11 and 12-year-olds that are scamming the parents more
have
or
you ever
less.
seen, and I've seen some players kind of respond to this. It will be like you're watching a video on Instagram or something like that, and it's a dribbling skill or it's a some type of drill that they're doing. This is going to help your game. This is going to help you with your jumping ability, whatever you want to call it. You're right. There has been a lot more of this thing ain't going to work. This thing's supposed to help you with your form, any of that stuff. You've seen players and coaches like stop buying these things. They're gimmicks.
We were talking about this kind of goes to what you mentioned earlier, Em, about the superpower and somebody that can just everything they touch, they're able to make money. If you just want to take people's money, here's the form. Tell them you can make their little league kid who plays right field for 2 innings and sucks, that you can teach that kid how to hit. They'll give you as much money as you want. I'm not kidding. I can help little Poindexter there. Yeah, bring him over here. It's $100 an hour. They will line up.
Well,
it's unreal.
You said you'd go to Dick's Sporting Goods, and it's like that's one of the things you loved doing was buying gloves, buying the equipment, buying any of that stuff. It's like money was gone.
But I have enough of an education to know, like, I like the equipment. I don't do like tools. No, a bat, a glove. Let's go. Whatever you want. Yeah. Michael never figured it out. I never said no to one thing ever. Hey, Dad, what do you think about that glove? I like it. All I was waiting for is, can I get it? And it was yes. I was that easy.
Awesome.
I would do like individual training sessions for soccer a lot. I think it helped me, but yeah, it could have been easily have been scammers.
It does help, but there's a ceiling, right?
Yeah.
There's a ceiling. What's yours, Em?
So mine is at the Iowa State Fair. They every year do this husband calling competition where they'll go, "Hey, Mike," instead of pig calling, they'll do that. So this year, I don't know if this is common, but I saw this come across my page, and it's a mom calling competition. So again, if you're a mom listening to this of young kids, cover your ears because it's going to be too close to home. But Brian played this.
Mom! I don't want to practice piano! Mom! Dad forgot to shut the gate to the cows, and now the cows are eating the corn! Mom!
This is great.
Mom, can I have a
All right, so this goes on for a couple of minutes, and
calling contest.
and these kids have the little numbers on, and they're trying to be creative, and again, it's similar to like pig calling, and I thought this was one
That's great.
adorable and cute, and two also hurts my ears because it's like if you're a mom, you hear mom so often.
Send me that link to that because I'm going to enter Michael. Because he has a gold medal level activity in this particular event that almost every day. So you've been to my house, Al, where we watch TV. You know the bathroom that's right there?
Yeah.
It's where Michael's bedroom's right there. It's where he takes showers.
Mm-hmm. Took a shower when we were there.
Yes.
Yep.
9 out of 10 times, hear the shower going, hear the shower turn off. Babe. He calls Susan babe. I don't know why, but he does.
That's weird.
Babe. Towel. He never brings a towel into the bathroom. And Susan will get, I'm like, you're really going to get it again? It's like, it just is like, you really, babe, towel.
Oh my gosh.
It's pathetic. And she does it, and I just look
And
at
how
both
old
of
is
them
he?
like they're, he's 18.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And she gets it for him.
What's going to happen when
Mom
he's at
the
whatever
meatloaf.
college next year?
Mom the meatloaf.
Emily, this is exactly my point. You know what'll happen? He'll walk down the hallway naked once, and then he will have to remember to bring his towel.
Yeah.
That's what will happen. I'm like, why don't we just fix this today? Why don't you say no?
I sent you the kid calling competition, or the mom calling competition.
There's your rabbit hole
There
right
you
there.
go.
By the way, all of our four are so random.
Nuclear reaction in his mother's
what makes Rabbit Hole.
shed.
No, thank you.
Jesus.
David Hahn.
No, thank
There
you.
you go. The Dump coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, Travis and Sliwa Show, of course, on ESPN Los Angeles, delivered by Pizza Hut. We actually just got Pizza Hut delivered to us right now. By the way, they're introducing their hot honey pizza and wings, the perfect balance of sweet and heat. Go order right now. Pizza Hut app, pizzahut.com. NBA is coming back tonight. What better thing to do than to just kick back and have pizza delivered to you? Again, order now on the Pizza Hut app or at pizzahut.com.
For everything we haven't gotten to today, yes, it's time for the dump.
This is, sometimes you'll say somebody thought that player or person A was person B, and you're like, I don't see it. This is one.
You're Megan Fox.
Yeah, I still have never seen the non-Megan Fox person, but yes, one of those. Jim Boeheim, former Syracuse head coach, being mistaken for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, so this is on the broadcast of Syracuse broadcast. Jim Boeheim was one of the guests on the ESPN broadcast, and so they were telling a story because Buddy Boeheim told the broadcasters this story. So this is Jim and the broadcasters talking about that.
Tonight, we had a dinner around here in Atlanta where in a previous experience at the same restaurant, Coach Boeheim was, I mean, how do you say this? The guy thought you were Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Boeheim in 2024, I am with it. First of all, you don't even know how to tell the story. I'm sitting there with my son and a couple other people, and this guy comes over and says, hey, great year. Well, you're doing an unbelievable job. And I'm kind of feeling good.
Right.
And I don't think we were that good either. But anyway, and then he goes, well, good luck, Bernie. And he walks away. My son still laughs about it. That was like 8 years ago or so.
If you told me that Bernie Sanders and Jim Boeheim were relatives, I would believe you. That's how much they look alike.
The images, because there's now, of course, once you hear this interview, now go on Twitter and somebody will have them side by side. Yeah, it takes a second. It helps that one of them's wearing a Syracuse polo.
Yeah, that's an identifier for sure. Sean McVay had his first press conference of the offseason, and apparently he's already telling jokes about them not keeping their first-round pick. Look, for the first time, maybe they'll pick, maybe they won't. I don't know. But what they do have is options.
Sure.
They can pick. Mm-hmm. They can package the pick for an established player. They could move up. They could move back. That they have the full deck of cards, right? That before they're trying to play a hand of poker and you don't have any aces in the deck. Like it's hard to do. Now they have the full complement of options available to them. They got money to spend. They got draft picks to make. One of the things that I think they do really well is they're really good in the later part of the draft, right? That they're finding Pukas and Kyron Williamses and Cooper Kupps and guys like that, Kobe Turner, Byron Young. That maybe, hey, if we don't love someone at that 19 spot that they're going to pick in, maybe you get a few third rounders instead of that first rounder. That's not a bad plan either.
Yeah, I think sometimes too, we don't give enough credit to teams out there. It's not just who you drafted. Maybe Trav, maybe those guys were steals. Maybe those guys don't have the same amount of success if they're not on the Rams.
Could be.
It could also be the situation. It could also be the coaching staff. It could also be the developing. That they deserve credit for that. But I think what you said, I remember going into the playoffs, everybody kept saying, who's a team that, you don't really want to face once you get to the postseason? It was the Rams. And Lions and the Rams had a very close game. Could have easily gone the Rams' way. Lions and the Niners was an interesting game. Who knows what the Rams season could have been, but now that they actually have options, that's impressive.
One of the guys that I've seen in some of the mock drafts around there are the Latu Leatu from, I could be saying that wrong, from UCLA. And he's awesome, and he might be available there, and he plays a position that the Rams actually have some need at. That seems to fit up really, really nicely.
Also another thing, they cut Brian Allen.
Uh-huh.
And so there's also great centers in this draft, too. So maybe they go get someone else in the offensive line.
Well, maybe if they get us, and Coleman Shelton did a good job last year, but maybe we'll finally stop hearing about Creed Humphrey, because Creed Humphrey, of course, was the guy they didn't take. They took Tutu Atwell instead, and Creed Humphrey has been protecting Patrick Mahomes for 4 seasons. So maybe
can't win them all.
Can't win them all. That's exactly right. Happy birthday to actress and talk show host and Hollywood royalty, Drew
Lover
Barrymore.
of the Rain.
Lover of the Rain.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
Drew Barrymore, 48 years old today.
She lost it with the rain.
What do you think? Do you have a first thought on Drew Barrymore is? Because I have a very specific one. Gertie from E.T.
I was going to say, I think of Never Been Kissed.
Okay.
Why do I think of her and Adam Sandler in The Wedding Singer?
Sure.
Wedding Singer?
51st Dates.
Yeah.
Also a good one.
I remember she was, 8, 7, something like that. Her screaming when E.T. came out of the stuffed animals. It's so wonderful.
I don't know if this story, maybe I'm reversing these people, but I think that Drew was supposed to be in Poltergeist.
I think you're right.
And she auditioned, and then Steven was like, wait, I like working with this girl. Let's put her in E.T. And then they cast the Poltergeist girl.
And the weird thing about her and E.T., they didn't tell her that it wasn't real.
Right.
They wanted her to develop an attachment to this prop so it would come across on film. And so they basically tried as long as they could to prevent her from knowing that that's a machine or there's a person in the machine. And she thought it was real for a period of time.
She was a little kid.
Yeah, of course. She's 8 years old or 7 or whatever it is.
Here's a sneaky one, too, that I think of her. Scream.
Oh, yeah.
Iconic opening scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like that kind of set the table of like, well, I wasn't prepared for that.
The cool thing about Scream 2 is
Mm-hmm.
that movie was being sold as a Drew Barrymore movie. She's on the cover. She's everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
she's
that's
on the
right.
press tour.
That's right.
It's supposed to be a Drew Barrymore movie. And you go, and she's dead in
She's
the
gone
first
in
10 minutes. And you're like, what's this movie going to do?
Yeah.
That was brilliant
Yeah.
from Scream.
That was a great, scary movie.
Yeah.
It was, and they kind of relaunched it.
And
These are all good choices.
successive Screams are still good. I think that Scream as a franchise, I still think is a quality franchise. There are dips, but yeah.
And they made an iconic bad guy, like that
Yeah.
mask and that outfit, like
It's
the
iconic.
Grim Reaper
No,
looking
that's-
kind of
that's
thing.
iconic.
It's very iconic.
In a very meta commentary. It's one of the first very self-aware
Yes.
scary movies.
This is one of the great moments in Olympic history, one of the great moments in sports history, and certainly one of the great moments in American sports history. It was today, February 22nd, 1980, when this happened.
11 seconds. You've got 10 seconds. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
The United States hockey team beat the Soviets 4-3 in Lake Placid. The Miracle on Ice. Al Michaels with arguably the greatest call in the history of sports. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. And then here's my favorite little trivia thing. They didn't win the gold medal in that game. That was to advance to the gold medal game. That they had to win one more game to win the gold medal. And Herb Brooks, who was the coach of that team, gave maybe the shortest and best pregame speech ever going into the gold medal game against Finland. If you lose this game, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. And walked out of the room. That was it. And they won. If you lose this game, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. That was it. And they fell behind again till they turned it into a great Disney movie. Kurt Russell. I mean, it's one of those things. I have memories
Yeah, I was
of
gonna
watching
say,
that.
You had mentioned that.
Yeah. So I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And I was living in Phoenix at the time, and I remember, and it was on tape delay. It wasn't even live because, the Olympics were a big deal. They only showed stuff in prime time. This game took place early in the day, and they were supposed to get housed. They'd lost to the Russians or the Soviets at the time, like 10-0 a couple of weeks before. It was a mismatch. It would be like the Olympic Dream Team playing against UCSB. That's what it would be like. And they beat them. And they won the whole thing. And I remember I'm not a hockey family. I didn't grow up. My dad wasn't a hockey fan. My mom's not a hockey fan. And everyone was on the edge of their seats watching this thing as it was happening in real time. Unreal. If you lose this game, you'll regret it for the rest of your life.
That's a great freaking quote.
That'll get you going. That's for sure. It's National Margarita Day. Will you be observing?
I'm a margarita for me is basically I'm on vacation. I'm ready to go. If
I
I'm
saw you at
having
Riv have a margarita, and you were like, you just
I
instantly
was on
checked
vacation.
out. Yeah,
I was on vacation. I don't think I will today because today's a long day for a couple Laker games here the next 2 days. But on Saturday, when there's no game, I will observe.
But that'll be like National Banana Daiquiri Day.
Well, I'm moving my margarita day.
It's also National Chili Day.
You're a margarita fan. It's not your top choice or anything like that, but you'll have a margarita.
Specific environments trigger the margarita
Which is good.
want.
On a beach, on...
I am a summer outdoor bar guy margarita. Yeah.
Good time to have it.
On the rocks, and I like them. I like the little exotic ones like the mango or the pineapple or jalapeno ones. Like the straight lime one is good, but that's not my first choice.
For me, it's more like Packer game, December.
With ramen. So we went to dinner
Versus the
last night.
Vikings.
Susan and I and Michael, we go to this place, and we're walking by, and there's a ramen shop as we're walking past to go to the place that we're going.
Yep.
And it was full, and people were having a great time. And I'm thinking, Slee would be in there on Super Bowl Sunday. Like, that's the first thing I thought of. Like, not that you would go there, because we'd all go there. It's good. But I'm thinking, on Super Bowl Sunday, no one would be in there. Slee would be at one table looking at the TV over the bar, having a bowl of ramen.
No, I'm taking it to go.
Em, do you know what this means? What is National California Day? What is that?
It's
entail?
National California Day. Celebrate everything California. Every state gets a national day.
Oh, wow.
And so today is National California Day. So proud to be a Californian.
I can't
California.
do the OC. Yeah, California dreaming.
I love that the one version, the sort of
Is it the Mamas and Papas? Is
yeah,
that
but there was a version. You know which one I'm talking about? There was like a slow version, kind of a darker version. They used it, I want to say,
I don't know this
when
one.
the Rams did the Hard Knocks, they used this song in a promo. Brian, see if you can find that. It's really, really good. Really good.
I got to check it out.
California,
so,
yeah.
You're an Olympics fan.
Yes, I am.
You've worked the Olympics how many times?
7.
7 different times.
7
Did you know that today is the anniversary of the Miracle on Ice?
No, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I was obviously not working those Olympics.
Right. I was 9 years old.
I was in high school. I was at a high school basketball game, and at the end of the bench, where I spent a lot of time, and word started to go around the gym that this had happened, and we were so excited because the Russians were invincible.
There have been so many documentaries and movies and books and
The
everything
iconic
written
call
about
that
this.
you said. It's
Is it the same? Is it the same if Al Michaels doesn't have that call? I wonder if that dude isn't just it's obviously the cherry on top of the whole thing, but that it has a name, the Miracle on Ice, that it could have been anybody.
The
It was
line,
Al
do
Michaels.
you believe in miracles? I mean,
yes. And he answers his own question. It's brilliant.
You think he wrote it down?
He says he didn't.
Right.
So I've heard him tell the story.
Yeah.
So the story that he tells is as it was happening and he realized that it may actually happen, he started thinking in his head, how am I going to call this? Because this is a big moment.
Right.
And he says the word miraculous kept knocking around in his brain.
Right.
But when he went to go, what came out is, do you believe in miracles?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's that version of California Dreamin'. Hang on. Starts very slow.
Is this the one you're thinking about?
Yeah, this is definitely
Jose
one.
Feliciano.
Yeah.
It was featured in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's a great version of it. What do you think?
I like
They took it and gave it a twist,
It's
right?
like you said.
Hey,
it's much
Mace.
darker.
Hey, Ireland.
The version I think you're thinking of that they used on Hard Knocks is from Sia.
Oh, from
See if I
Sia.
can-
Yeah.
I was just going to say, John, that you messed up one night in Once Upon in Hollywood and Hard Knocks. I'm like, that's an interesting mix mash.
Yeah, that
No,
is.
the one Mason's talking about is hauntingly good.
Yeah.
It's the best version of California Dreamin' I've ever heard. Here it is.
This is the one, yeah.
I like this one better.
Yeah, it's better.
Not bad.
Great songs.
So what's weird is Sia for a long time. Ireland, were you at Saturday Night Live the night Sia performed? I want to
Yes,
say
and
you were.
Donald Trump was the host, and she was the musical guest.
Did she not keep her face covered the entire time?
Whole time.
Yeah,
With
the
a-
whole
with a
time.
Oh, is that
black
her
and
bit?
white wig
black
covering
and-
her whole face.
Yeah, and she sang. She's got an impeccable voice.
Right, and she protected her anonymity. Like, if she walked into the studio right now, none of us would go, oh, that's Sia.
Yeah, no,
'Cause
she sings
nobody
with like
knows
a
who she
bag
looks
over her
like.
head.
Right.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Like the unknown comic?
That's her thing. She's
Exactly.
the unknown vocalist.
Same-
Yeah, unknown
Same bit.
Emily's saying she's more known now.
She takes it off now on her own Instagram and TikToks and stuff, but
Okay.
she still relatively keeps her anonymity.
But, Em, would you know, if she walked into the studio, would you know that was Sia?
Probably not unless she had like a posse. And I was like, oh, that's probably Sia.
Sia's
Right.
posse. You'd recognize
Sia's
her posse.
posse. She's got
Not
posse.
her.
Wait a minute, you recognize her posse?
She's got a posse.
If it's a person that I think might look like Sia, and then there's a lot of people following them,
Then you know it's
I'm like,
somebody.
that's
Okay,
probably a
got it.
celebrity
Yeah.
Sia.
Yeah, okay.
Brian, do you know what we should do right now? A little super crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
John, I know that you're obviously up in San Francisco getting ready for tonight's game against the Warriors, and I want to start here. I saw your tweet this morning about Doug Mann, and I know what he meant to you and everybody in the Laker family. I just wanted to say I'm sorry that you lost somebody that was so important to you.
So for people who don't know what Travis is talking about, Doug Mann has been the statistician, the guy in Los Angeles for 48 years.
Man.
He was the personal stat guy for Vin Scully, for Chick Hearn, for Bob Miller, and somehow me.
Yeah.
And I've been telling people, I've been talking to people all day about this, obviously, and they're putting together something for Doug that they're going to do at the game tomorrow night. But to me, and I hope this makes sense, because he was my link to Bob and Vin and Chick, he was like Yoda to me.
Yeah.
I mean, any circumstance that would come up in a game, Doug had seen it before. Like he would tell me what to do or how to do it. And it for people who didn't hear, Doug and Mason, this made me think of you, because when you broke your foot, I know you had a scare with a blood clot.
Yes.
And had you not been in the hospital when you developed the clot, for people who don't know, years ago, Mason broke his foot in the air. We were doing a stunt, and he was trying to jump over a bar, and he shattered his foot. And what'd you get, mate? In like nine
screws
places?
and a plate, yeah.
And when you were in the hospital, it got kind of scary. You had a pulmonary embolism, right?
Correct, yeah.
Which is a fancy way of saying blood clot.
Blood
right?
clot, yeah, exactly right. And it was scary. I mean, the family flew in at that point when they heard it wasn't just a. But I'll tell you this, Doug.
But so what happened with Doug was he had a blood clot, but he didn't know it, much like you didn't know it. But he was at home, and there was no one there. His wife had passed away earlier last year, and there was nobody home. And so they found him yesterday, deceased, and we're all dealing with it. I'm going to be in shock for probably 2 or 3 days. I just know that it's never going to be the same. I mean, the word irreplaceable is perfect for him, because there's just nobody with that knowledge. And Michael and I are kind of walking around in a daze. But if Doug were here, what he would say is the show must go on.
Yeah.
So we'll do the show.
Such
do the
a nice man. Slee, you obviously sat next to. I sat next to him for a couple of years at Lakers games.
Me too.
Really, really nice, Trav. Yeah, really nice man. And by the way, I have no idea why Michael would not pay for the pies that Doug picked up.
That story has come up many times.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
And I'm sure will come up tonight during the game.
He's a good soul, and that's more than anything else. And like you said, John, kind of talking about potential. Is he going to retire? Was this going to be his final year, and kind of get a chance to, try as best as he can to enjoy his retirement? So, yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
So, John.
Go ahead, Trav.
No, I was just going to say, I don't want to interrupt you. I was going to kind of just talk about, prior to, obviously, the terrible news about Doug, how your time off was going. But if there's more on Doug, let's certainly do that.
Well, I was somebody, Slee and I are on the same text chain. I think it was our buddy Mike Dooley, or maybe it was Jared Diglio. Somebody sent today a text that Doug sent to him a couple months ago when we lost Dennis DiAgostino, who is married to Helene Elliott, the Hall of Fame hockey writer, Helene's in the news this week because she took a buyout from the LA Times.
Yeah.
So we're going to lose her writing pretty soon, but we won't lose Helene. She'll still be around, but she's not going to write for the Times anymore. And so Dennis, her husband, unexpectedly passed away last year, and Doug sent a text when Dennis died that said, I started out 48 years ago working for visiting radio and visiting TV. Money then was nowhere near what it is now. I was making less than 5% of what I make now. But it's not all about the money. What's important to me, especially now, is that I enjoy the people that I work with, I respect them all, and it's reciprocated by them. And that was true. People that worked with Doug, from Vin to Chick to Bob, he would defend his announcers to the core. I just pity anyone who would say something bad about one of Doug's guys in the presence of Doug, because he would just jump you. And you just work in this business a lifetime, and you don't get a lot of guys like that. So he's going to be severely missed.
Well, it speaks to Doug, I think, that the names that you rattled off, John, are not just names that we know here in L.A. They're
all
names
in the
that
Hall of Fame.
they're in the Hall of Fame, and that they all chose him.
Yeah.
I think speaks to Doug and the work that he did and the type of person that he was.
Such a nice man. Yeah.
Vin Scully gets who he wants. Bob Miller gets who he wants. Chick Hearn gets who he wants, and that they all picked the same guy, I think says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He once slipped me, and Slee sits behind us, so Slee kind of sees this in action. He once slipped me 200 notes in one game. Think about that. 200 notes. The game's only 48 minutes. All right, so he's basically slipping me 2 notes a minute.
Wow.
And so every time I sounded smart, which wasn't very often, but when I did, it was Doug.
Hey, why didn't Doug ever help Michael? Because he never really sounded.
Michael was too busy eating.
Yeah.
Michael was a chair away.
He had a bag of Doritos on the aisle with his leg out, taking pictures with people during the game. That was MT.
That was pretty good, Mason.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done right there. I noticed that you didn't go with the Mr. Rogers sweater 2 days in a row.
I have a full wardrobe now. I don't.
No, but this seems.
By the way, Mace, what caused that? Because you used to dress like a flood victim.
Yes.
And lately you've been dressing to impress.
You look good.
I would say,
You look sharp.
I would say over the last, 2 months?
No.
It's been longer than that, I think. Yeah, it's been longer than that.
What got into you? What inspired this?
I think at some point I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, what are you You are such a slob.
You're a successful man.
You are such a slob. Why not dress for that success,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I'll tell you a huge part. My mom and my stepdad Leo watch every day on the YouTube.
Oh, there it is.
And they will give me crap all the time. And by the way, even when I dress nice, that sweater's ugly.
So yesterday, obviously John and Sli, you guys weren't here yesterday. You had on what can only be described as kind of a Mr. Rogers cardigan.
Oh, it was a cardigan. It was a very stylish cardigan.
It was a cardigan.
Yeah, stylish.
I refer to that as his old man sweater.
Of the moment.
This is far more contemporary. You got a little bit of a quarter zip thing going here. It's got some detail work around the zipper. This feels more you.
Yeah.
It flows.
Yeah,
it flows.
nice.
Okay, so last time we saw you, at least last time I saw you, you were reading us Yelp reviews, or not Yelp reviews. You were reading us reviews of the Murrieta Hot Springs.
Yes.
And then you were gone.
Right.
You came back. John and I are just back as well. How'd the trip go?
Well, it started out in an interesting way.
Uh-oh.
There I was at the Murrieta Hot Springs. And by the way, beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. Okay. They're in the middle of sort of doing the construction and separating the pools and all that kind of stuff. So we had a very nice first day. Then at 5 o'clock the next morning, we hear this. It sounds like a jackhammer right underneath our room. And it happens, and then it stops. And I'm like, okay, at least that's over.
Okay.
15 minutes later, bam, happens again. And
don't say you weren't warned. That one Yelp review warned you.
Said it's not ready. So we ended up checking out that morning. They gave us our money back because I honestly thought we were being punked. It was so loud.
Bad.
It was so loud. The entire room is shaking. Like the pictures on the wall are slightly. And I'm like, this is not real. This can't possibly be real. They couldn't have at least rented out this room for the night.
What did they say?
We apologize. We hope you'll forgive us, and we hope you'll come back. That was
Will
it.
you?
I will. I think it's a beautiful. It's
the only way you can handle a situation like that. You know what? You're right. Here's your money back. Please come back and give us another chance.
How are they jackhammering?
Well, that was a mistake.
No, I don't want to.
That was a mistake.
Look, I don't want to bag on the place entirely because I think it is going to be really nice.
Sure.
Murrieta Hot Springs. It's just not quite ready. So we ended up going out to the desert to Two Bunch Palms, which is a really, really cool hot springs kind of facility, and had a great time out there. But Murrieta Hot Springs, we did not write a review.
John called it.
We tried to tell him, John. He didn't listen to us.
Hey, Trev, get a load of this. This is a tweet from Bob Nightingale. So the Dodgers have their first spring training game today, and if you're curious if this whole Dodger experiment's going to work, first inning, 26 minutes at the plate in the top of the first, 8 runs against the Padres.
Saw it all.
8-0 in the third right now. I heard them describe it actually
right in front of us.
Joe Musgrove apparently really was on it today, Slee.
Yeah, Musgrove.
He was on one.
He recorded 0 outs.
Yep.
He faced 4 batters and gave up 2 runs.
Right.
I don't think he's ready.
He gave up the ground rule double to Teoscar Hernandez, and then he's gone.
And then that was his day.
And they had Tatis mic'd up for that whole first half inning. If there's a inning you don't want to have the opposing player on, how about have him on for 8 runs?
If only it were October 7th and not February 22nd.
I heard you talking earlier. I love spring training, but not for the baseball itself.
Right. It's a great vacation.
Spring training is a really cool scene to hang out.
I want to go. That'd be fun.
But the baseball is just Austin Barnes batting 5th. I mean, come on.
You can miss that. Super Crosstalk is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out,